Hello, everyone, and welcome to this special edition of the Picture Palace podcast. With me in the studio today is Graeme. How are you doing today, Graeme?
Fine, thanks.
And today we're going to be watching Batman 1989 and doing a commentary track for it, which we've never actually done before, and very little research has gone into today. I guess we'll just jump right into it. Graeme, what is your early memories of this film? This is a film we've probably watched more than any other film, I'm thinking.
Yeah, but I don't think I've got many early memories of it.
Okay, that's
I'm not
interesting.
sure I watched it at that young an age. Do you know what I mean? I remember Batman Returns a lot clearer. Got that for my birthday. Had people around for a birthday party, watched it. I didn't see either of the Burton films at the cinema. But I can't really remember anything other than having the toys from this one. I can't really remember the film. I've got a feeling I might not have seen it till I was maybe like a bit older.
Okay, so you remember what the memorabilia,
Yeah, I remember the
merchandise?
merch, and I remember Batman Returns, but I don't. And I remember seeing clips of this and knowing that he had an all black suit and it was different from Adam West, but I don't remember the film that clearly. I think I might have been a bit older when I seen it. I mean, as an older, I mean like 12 or something like that.
When we say we had the Batman toys, what toys are we talking about here? Which ones?
The Batmobile and the toy that came with that, with the extendable utility belt.
It was a brilliant toy. In fact, you can see it from right where we're standing here. It's over there on that desk. Great video of that.
What are your memories?
My memories are my memories are similar in some ways. Like, this is a film that's sort of famous for its marketing campaign. I don't remember the marketing campaign so well, but I do remember all the merchandise that came with it. And also, my distinct memory of this film is my dad bringing it home from the video shop, and it had like this huge, massive box.
You didn't see it in the cinema?
I didn't see Batman 1989 in the cinema. I saw Batman Returns in the drive-in in Florida one year. But again, similar, just remember all the toys and stuff like that came with it. It was the Batwing, the Batmobile, Batman with that amazing utility belt. And also, I don't know if you remember the gigantic sticker album. Like, there was a huge sticker album for this.
I don't remember that. I think I had a helicopter as well.
I think there was a Batcopter. There was also a Bob toy. I don't think I ever had.
Not that. I really can't remember seeing this film for the first time.
I distinctly remember seeing it for the first time, and what I remember, I totally loved it when I saw it, but what stuck in my head was I'd seen Batman 66, and the film made me aware of the idea of representation and how things can be changed, because it just was so night and day compared to 66, which now I love, but at the time, obviously, I mean, what age would we have been?
When this came out?
Yeah.
1989. 6 years old, so yeah, neither of us would have seen that at the cinema. I mean, that
I think, I can't say this for definite off the top of my head, but I think my dad had brought the copy back from, I said video store, but I think it might have been from the US.
Yeah.
It had the box and it was giant and it was ahead of time, so it would have been maybe 1980, something like that. So
that makes more sense actually. That I would remember Returns better. We would have been about 8 then, so 8 or 9. So it makes more sense that might have been the first one of the Burton films I wouldn't have an awareness of.
I have a very distinct memory of Returns, like very, very distinct.
But I do remember the marketing from all this. I remember the symbol and the box and everything and all that sort of stuff.
The symbol's amazing. Okay, right, so what we're going to do is watch the film and talk our way through it. I guess it's only fair warning at the start. This is what we consider the real Batman. Am I fair? Is it right in saying that?
Definitive.
The definitive Batman. So we will probably be doing a lot of griping about the later films to some degree and saying how much better this is. That's not because we're old, it's because we're jaded.
But we've only really thought about that since those other films have come out. There was a time when we didn't think this was as good as we think it is now.
Yeah.
I think this has grown over time.
I think, I go back to it again. How many times have we watched this?
I mean, at the moment I'm watching it probably once every 2 weeks, maybe more. But before that, we were definitely watching it like a few times a year at least, probably more. But at the moment, I can't stop watching it.
I'm really struggling to think. I mean, how long have we known each other? What, 20 years at least? Right, so 20 years at least. I'm struggling to think of another film we've probably watched as much as this. Maybe Back to the Future for a while. But how often do you watch
I do
that
remember a time we'll get into all this, but I remember a time when we talk about how boring it was and not wanting to watch it and things.
Yeah, I would definitely go through like sort of rough patch. I don't think we were ever really completely sold on the Nolan verse, but this film definitely has problems, and we'll talk about them. But I suppose it's just like anyone, you can't get over. This is our Batman. This is who we think of when we think of Batman. That's the costume we think of, etc., etc., etc. I just think it's amazing that we're still able to watch it and enjoy it as much as we are. Not that I'm prolonging this opening conversation so I don't have to watch it. Right, okay, with that said, let's start the film. Big old Warner Brothers logo there to get us started. Sorry?
I was just going to say great score.
Well, yeah, I suppose the first thing to start with is a Danny Elfman score. The music in this is amazing. It's basically a character, isn't it?
Yeah. This is quite strange. This is quite strange what's actually happening here. You know, like going round the symbols.
The symbol, yeah.
I'm never actually sure what it's meant to be.
Well, I don't know what it's meant to be. Oh, I suppose it is just a symbol, but I think it starts like most Burton films start with a big, massive, sweeping crane shot. Like if most of his films start that way. Beetlejuice, Edward Scissorhands, Batman Returns, Batman. They all have a huge crane shot at the beginning. But again, one of the reasons, I can't believe I'm getting straight into this, one of the reasons I love this one so much more than what's came after is iconography. Like, it looks amazing, and it paints like big, bold images. One of the first ones is the amazing logo. If you don't have anything to say, you need to say. We can.
I had a point there. I just forgot what it was.
Well, I'm going to be doing all
that's what I was going to say. I wonder. You could say this about a lot of films, like especially the Superman films. I wonder what it would be like without the score.
Yeah, I know, that's massive. It is a total keeper, and I don't know why it is, but most modern superhero films tend not to have a good score. I don't know what the deal with that is, or an iconic score, should I say. They're obviously very accomplished technically,
but they're not memorable.
Yeah. And of course, he's up on the screen there. Songs written and produced by Prince. I'm sure that was in no way forced upon Tim Burton.
Not really the done thing anymore to have
an
associated pop song.
I would love to see that come back.
Yeah.
Pop stars being forced into films. Although
even up until the first Spider-Man one, they were doing that.
Oh, you forget will.i.am being forced into Wolverine Origins.
Oh, yeah.
Not to sing though, just to perform, which is
no
in
song.
some ways.
Was Spider-Man the last one that happened with? Pop song that you would see clips of. I suppose it's not the same anyway when you can see footage so much easier. That might have been right up until the time when I know the internet was around, but even still, it was still a novelty to see clips of the film and the music video on MTV or whatever.
Well, I was about to say, it was a way of building the auxiliary market, but what's interesting is the film that I think of doing that recently is DC and Warner Brothers' own Suicide Squad. It had quite a few music videos associated with it. Right, here we are, Gotham City.
Matt Payton.
A beautiful, beautiful Matt Payton. I love this Gotham.
Who do we think this is at the start every time?
Every single time
I knew I did that again.
Same mistake. There's the Monarch Theatre, and I think that this is Thomas Wayne being portrayed in a less than glamorous light.
Every single time you think, why they made Thomas Wayne like such a wimp, and then you remember it's not Thomas Wayne.
I don't know why I keep falling for it over and over again, but almost every single time. Imagine that was Thomas Wayne. Do you know what I think it is? It's because you sort of think about how disrespectful in some people's eyes Burton is to the legacy of Batman, and then when it opens up, you're already set to have that opinion, and then when you see him, you're like, you see, he's not even getting Thomas Wayne wrong.
It makes having a family look really difficult there as well, and family holidays.
It has to be one of the most difficult depictions of families with a very negative outcome. But again, like, this is quite a dirty, pretty grimy Gotham.
Yeah.
Like, I suppose the obvious criticism of Burton's Gotham is it's not very big.
Yes.
It feels like it's made up of just a couple of streets, but for me, who came from a small town, at least I can relate to that. But
I also miss that a bit more now. This is something in retrospect, like now they don't use sets like that maybe in the same way anymore.
Well, I mean, the sets are amazing, and this is filmed in
smoking things
in London, wasn't it?
Yeah.
This one was done. The set design's amazing. Like, we're saying,
I didn't always think that though. I know a lot of people have said that, and I've only recently started to realise that. There was a time when I thought lots of this looked quite cheap, but now I don't think it does. I don't know. Maybe that is just time.
I just like big, old-fashioned sets. I just think it's cool.
I think any problems with the set are when they show it during the day.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember they said that about Blade Runner, that they never, anytime they decided to shoot it at night completely because the sets looked so cheap.
Right. Okay.
During the day, I think sometimes when you see the mayor and people like that,
yeah,
that's when it looks not as good.
Here's a wee bit of animation right at the start of Batman walking away. What's quite interesting is, like, again, talking about icons, painting big bold images. Everyone in this film is memorable. Like, they've got iconic faces and stuff like even these two criminals.
Yeah.
The other funny thing that amuses me on no end is the fact that Batman watched that crime happen and just let it happen. It was more important to him to make sort of an entry later on, a dramatic entry, than to
Unless
actually
that's
stop
just
a crime.
giving you realistic limitations in what you can do.
Well,
Maybe
how
he just
far away is
literally
he?
couldn't get down there fast enough.
That's devastating. Yeah.
These guys look good.
These guys look the part. Don't really see people like this in film anymore.
No. And that guy, I know at least one of them's British.
Is that
It doesn't sound it.
Is that what's his face from the band? Forgot the name. What's that band? Hit me with your rumstick.
Ian Jury?
Is that Ian Jury then?
It's not Ian Jury. They're famous.
Another thing that we talk about quite a lot is the script of this and how nearly every line has eventually become quotable for us.
Yeah.
Right,
First
here we go.
full view of the costume.
Early on, how long are we in?
I know, that's one of the best. I remember Bryan Singer talking about his setup for the X-Men films being similar to this.
Mm-hmm.
In the world that Batman exists already. He already exists and he's already operating and you don't have to see the whole origin story, which makes it really watchable.
There's something, I mean, again, as comic book fans, I guess we like origin stories and that, we used to, certainly, but there is something about the amount we get now and the amount they're repeated, it's becoming...
And you do get some of the origins in the flashback.
Yeah.
At the end, you're basically getting the most important parts of it.
It's just been filtered in. I think it's just good, concise storytelling. There's Batman adjusting his feet, that doesn't look quite right.
They're Nike as well, those shoes are Nike. I think they say Nike at the bottom or something.
That's not great.
Costume still looks brilliant.
Costume
The
looks
yellow,
amazing.
didn't realise at the time that the yellow and the belt and the symbol is really important to break up the black and make it not so boring, which is one of the major problems with the Nolan films, in my opinion.
These guys are acting pretty terrified. Does that chime with what you just saw there?
It did when I was younger. Maybe it does seem a bit less frightening now. I think he still seems... I think the way it was sort of lit and everything and done, I think you'd be reasonably frightened if someone like that turned up.
Okay.
Not if you got a good look at him,
but... here's Harvey Dent and Commissioner Gordon.
Are we doing facts?
Yeah, let's do facts. You got some?
That he was given that he was given a contract, which was reasonably...
Billy D. Williams we're talking about.
Yeah, that sort of promised him more money for coming back as Two-Face in the second one.
Yeah.
They didn't honour the contract, and I think he might have got a reasonable payout to sort of come back as Two-Face for Batman Forever.
Yeah, quite the... They paid him even more money to go away, which is quite an interesting concept. Right, here we go.
The man.
Real star of the show, Jack Nicholson. Now, again, someone or a performance that's maybe not been as kindly looked at in the...
Since Heath Ledger.
Seems Heath Ledger.
I wonder what will happen over time. That's something that's quite interesting to me for as long in the next 10, 20, 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
What are they going to be saying about Ledger v Nicholson? I think they might come back round to Nicholson. Right now it's cool to trash Jack.
I think is Jerry Hall?
Jerry Hall, Rupert Murdoch's wife.
I think this is all and Mick Jagger's girlfriend for
yeah,
as well.
At the time then I think. Now it's Rupert.
I suppose this version of Jack Nicholson, this version of the Joker, the sort of the gangster type Joker, is maybe not. I don't know. It's not how people want to really think of the Joker now, is it? They like to think of him as sort of a mad.
Yeah, I'm not sure how I ever thought about him though. This is probably the way I would have thought about. This is probably the most I would have ever known about him in terms of his background.
Yeah.
I never really read any comics that's talked about who he was other than The Killing Joke, which I think.
I suppose my a definitive.
And even in that, he's gangster related.
Yeah, but he's
the
like
Red Hood and everything,
comic, isn't he?
Yeah, but he gets involved with gangsters.
I would not like to see Jack Nicholson running around with a Red Hood helmet on and stuff like that.
No.
They couldn't build a helmet big enough. Look at the size of that head.
Do you think he would have been better 10 years younger? Do you think he's fine in this?
Well, I mean, what we're basically seeing is the Jack Torrance Shining performance done again, isn't it? He's basically been paid to reprise
done again
that.
At 50.
Done it in a cool 50. I don't know. Obviously he doesn't look amazing. Well, that goes without saying.
Just
But then none
just
of
the
us
weight.
do.
Are you just talking about the weight, or
Just the whole package. It's not. I mean, what age do you think of the Joker as? Usually about 35.
probably? I think you could 30 to 40,
Right, okay,
but probably
30.
35. Probably land about 35 for Batman as well.
Right, okay, yeah.
I
They should be
suppose
about the
these
same
two are
age.
near. Well, Michael Keaton's probably about 38, and I think Jack Nicholson's nearer to 50.
So it's not what maybe people expected. Can we put that? Or maybe people did expect that because they'd had what Cesar Romero before. He can't have been.
I think if he'd
thinking-
lost a stone,
He wasn't going to lose a stone.
I know he was never going to do that, but if he had done that,
From all
he might have looked
accounts,
haggard.
allegedly he was very difficult on this set.
What? Well, I think the stories about him being it's set in London, isn't it? It was
Yeah.
filmed in London,
They filmed in London,
and there's definitely a lot of stories I've heard
allegedly.
about him partying, about them not filming till night so that he could go out and party through the night, and then come in late and all that, and then he'd fall asleep in the makeup chair and things like that.
I mean, again, they're basically trying to repeat the Superman formula here, aren't they? Of having like a big name star as your villain, and I'm not gonna say an unknown in the lead, but certainly someone less prominent.
Do you want to know my Eckhart fact?
Yeah,
Is it Lieutenant Eckhart?
Lieutenant Eckhart. He's here meeting Jack Nicholson.
He's in Star Wars.
Oh, he's one of the troopers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the playing guys, whatever. I don't know.
He's done it all. I suppose again, maybe worth mentioning is like, see, when I was younger, this film was quite scary.
I was about to say that. I think this. I still think this bit's reasonably frightening.
It's some of the scariest gangsters I've ever seen.
I think they do quite a good job of showing this character to be cool but unhinged
Yeah.
pre-Joker,
Yeah.
and then it seems realistic that he would go over the edge.
The problem is, did they really establish why he decides to become so artistic? That's a Jack Nicholson touch, isn't it?
Yeah, I think like a lot of things, it seems like Jack Nicholson's just had ideas and he's been powerful enough to get them in. I think the art is that Prince is part of that. He's apparently just said he liked Prince.
Oh, really?
Yeah, apparently Jack Nicholson just mentioned that he liked Prince. The Prince was in Warner Brothers as well, and that's how that got started.
I just assumed it would be the studio that went in and said, listen to him.
Maybe
Prince.
maybe it's a bit of everything, but that's definitely one story I've heard that Jack Nicholson said he liked Prince.
What's interesting in that earlier scene, like we start with like the pictures of on the wall of Jerry Hall done up as a model, and then Jack Nicholson's got his feet on the cover of a Vogue issue.
Yeah,
So there seems to be some indication there that maybe he's obsessed with beauty in some kind.
and he's looking at himself. He's
Yeah.
vain and all that.
Slight touches.
What else did he, I'm sure he got a few other things in the cellar. There's be things as we go along, but the art, I think, definitely seems like he's a big art fan in real life. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure he will have asked for that to be included in some way as part of his character.
Well, the guy playing the guy playing Bob, is that not a request of his as
That's
well?
his friend, yeah. That's his Tracy something, and he's in the sequel to Chinatown as well.
No, okay. The two Jakes.
See what I mean about the sets looking a bit cheaper
Yeah.
during the day?
They don't look so great. They don't look so hot. But I guess the thing that's cool about it is it's its own thing. It doesn't look like anywhere.
It does have a timeless thing about it, yeah.
Yeah.
Because even these offices are kind of
Exactly.
40s looking or
Not-
something.
Not a
or-
computer in sight.
yeah.
I do like that sort of timeless element. Oh, there's Bob Kane, isn't it? Is that Bob Kane or is it just a Bob Kane drawing?
I don't think it's Bob Kane. I think it's a Bob Kane drum, but I think that guy might be an artist artist.
Right, okay. Hello, legs. Okay. So I suppose we should talk about these two characters. Richard Knox is an odd.
He is,
character.
but he's someone over the years I've come to like more as a I think he's quite funny in it. It's a bit off-putting that he has kind of Michael Keaton-ish hair.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like Michael Keaton's stunt double has been given a role in the film along with Michael Keaton. Why not just have Kim? I suppose it gives her someone to talk to, but why not just have Kim Basinger as the journalist?
I think that is the reason though, isn't it? Is like to have someone to talk
bounce
about.
off.
Yeah.
Why this guy then? I mean, what else has this guy done? Good Morning Vietnam is there a film I think of him in?
Yeah, he must have just been a comedian going around at that time.
Yeah,
I think he is pretty funny at it.
he's all right. I don't fully understand the purpose. He doesn't really get a narrative. He gets to be something to do at the end.
Yeah.
But it seems to drop out of it. But then the film's what, just over 90 minutes.
I think maybe
So-
no more than 2 hours.
Okay, right. So something's got to be sacrificed, and I guess it was Knox. Makes sense.
What do you think about Basinger?
I don't know. I guess like if you were being Crow, you could say she's quite boring, quite flat in it.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Sentimental for the performance. and
Doesn't
stuff
get
like
much to do if we're talking about the new Me Too era.
Yeah.
She's basically there for the boys to argue about.
that. She looks amazing as well.
Yeah,
Can I say that now in the meter era? I don't know.
she's a
Very
class act.
iconic looking.
This, now, when we were younger and we talked about this film, this is the scene that are we actually saying enough about what's happening
We just
on
you
the
allude to it because you assume that people will be watching it. So Jack Nance has just got up from behind his desk, and he's the crime boss, Grissom.
And this is the exact scene we used to say. Whenever you thought about this film, you would think of this scene and think it's really boring.
Yeah, that's right.
I don't know why that is. It's got a bat wing in it and everything. You don't.
I know. Something about negotiations and deals that just when you're younger, I guess Batman you don't necessarily think should have.
But maybe you like more as you get older.
Yeah.
The idea of the boss saying this is something you should do, and you saying I don't want to.
Yeah. Who amongst us here in the working world cannot honestly say they've sat in a purple suit?
I don't
with the boss.
I also didn't notice how cool this set is. Even like younger, the sort of
Yeah, it's really nice. Set
I don't know what you call that.
Wood.
Was that Art Deco or Art something?
It's Art Deco.
That looks really, really.
I
smart.
really hope that's right. I said that
It looks good anyway. I used to think it didn't. No, I think it does.
I actually think Nicholson's suit here looks pretty cool as well.
I think he looks pretty cool overall here. Something's different here.
Yeah, I mean he looks a wee bit Chinatown-y.
Yeah. Good hair, good Nicholson hair,
again,
good purple suit. It's just when they don't accentuate the weight, basically. There's some parts where he's the Joker when he's got the suit on and he looks great. It's when he looks a bit sillier with this, but then he's supposed to look like that with the trousers and stuff pulled up.
And again, Jack Nance in a small role here, but it's again quite Palance. Sorry, Jack Palance. Fuck, I've said Jack Nance earlier as well. Jack Palance here in a small role, but iconic again.
Yeah. Trouble behind the scenes, wasn't there?
Yeah, didn't enjoy Tim Burton's work behind the camera, and they got into a bit of a feud about it. I think Burton was terrified, to be honest. I mean, this must have been quite intimidating. What had he done? Pee-wee's Big Adventure, Beetlejuice, and then this.
He talks about Jack Nicholson being a good ally on the set.
Jack Palance.
No, Tim Burton says Jack Nicholson was good to him.
Oh, good.
I remember later on, Jack Nicholson kind of does an impression of what Jack Palance just did there.
Yeah.
So kind of think that he might have been finding it funny as well.
Okay.
That's spec. Pure spec.
Wild spec.
I think this
we
bit
go.
is a problem with Tim Burton as a director. Not that I might have the technical language to talk about it, but
What do you mean?
well, I think this scene looks far too claustrophobic compared to what it could look like. A massive party at Wayne Manor and gambling and everything, and it seems so tight. Like,
Yeah,
just
it seems like a sort of. I mean, it seems very conservative, doesn't it? It seems like something very Tory about this.
like no one's really moving around. Like, do you see what I mean? There's really close-ups of the poker table, but no idea that there's any movement around it.
They're all sort of very sort of crammed in and stuff like that. Yeah, no. If you compare it to something like one of our other favourite films, Once Upon a Time in America, and all the movement going on in different layers.
And that can't just
The
be a
composition.
money or a budget thing. Is that just Tim Burton as a director?
I
Not
think
knowing what
that
to
is a
do?
bit of. They're just trying to fill it up, but I mean, it's very claustrophobic. But I guess that's what they're trying to say in the scene. I don't know, but it looks like a
Just do
corridor.
the occasional cut to something showing a bigger environment. It doesn't look like a big house.
No.
Michael Keaton.
Oh,
This is the
Michael
first time.
Yeah, this is the first time we've seen him out of the Batman costume. He looks amazing. Look at
This is something then that's changed over the years, because there was a time where we said, well, he's not definitive because he doesn't physically look like you expect him to look like.
All right, we've adjusted our script over the years.
But then when you get what you want in Christian Bale,
that's a
you look back and say, sorry, my hand's got
That's a good point.
You look back and say,
Hang on, start again.
Actually- sorry, over the years we've definitely adjusted our opinions on Michael Keaton, haven't we?
Yes, that's certainly true.
So the problem was that you didn't think he represented physically what he should do in terms of looking like the comic book.
The other thing is, sorry, just to jump in, is that when he was cast, people went nuts as well.
Yeah, that's right. No, we don't remember any of that.
No.
We're too young. But I think did they not burn an effigy of him?
I've not heard that before.
I think that's true.
They burnt an effigy of Michael Keaton.
I think so. There was articles in the Wall Street Journal and stuff. Like there was more than had ever been. There was more than had happened until that time. Now it probably wouldn't be as big a deal for
But
people.
hang on, right? I hate Henry Cavill. I hate the man. I'm not burning an effigy of him.
I might be wrong. I have to check that. Right, but what I was going to say before is you get Christian Bale looking a lot closer to to what you'd imagine Batman to look, and then maybe even Ben Affleck looking even closer to it in the most recent one.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you need the flair and charisma, and you need someone who looks a little bit psychotic.
Unhinged. Yeah, I think the Christian Bale thing's spot on, because I remember, I don't know if you remember us talking about this, but before I said Bale would be a good Batman before, and then I was super happy when he got cast.
Yeah.
And then I turned up and it was like just sheer, not even boredom, because he's alright. It just something about it. Just
there's no magic. He seems all effort.
Just feels really safe.
Yeah.
Like whereas I think the thing that was always true about I can't remember who said this, but the idea that Keaton would have to dress up to be Batman.
I think that was Tim Burton. Yeah, he said you would have to get into the costume because he doesn't have the physicality to do it without it.
And whereas like Bale, you can't imagine why he would dress up like that, because he's already massive and intimidating.
Yeah. Keaton's face is much better as well. The eyebrows, the chin, the lips.
The other thing is, I mean,
I should have continued to that about. I said about the lips.
Getting down to brass tacks is, if Batman, like Superman and all the other superheroes, is a power fantasy, it makes sense that it's someone not super strong in the costume and stuff like that. That is the element of fancy, that it's quite a weedy guy who's doing all this.
Have you ever seen Pacific Heights yet?
No, I've not seen it. I just remember the advert on Sky when I was younger.
Yeah, that's the film where Michael Keaton's kind of gone into a kind of boarding house as a sort of kind of renting a room, and then starts creeping around under the floorboards, and he has that kind of look in this. Definitely looks like he could be unhinged.
Right.
I've said.
Okay, I'm talking about Keaton is unhinged.
But
sure, the man's very nice.
And not in an obvious way.
Yeah. The other thing that's worth pointing out is that his eyebrows do look like bats.
Yeah.
Which again is very good for the role.
This is one of the scenes that you get a good look at him and Knox's hair and see how similar it is. Yes. Keaton's is better, but they're just so similar.
It is confusing. It's very confusing. I don't know.
I find Knox funny
I'm
in
on
this
board
scene.
with Knox's script. I really want to say something nice about Kim Basinger again, but I'm worried about the Me Too movement. I don't know what to say.
Is it just on how she looks?
Well, she does look sort of stunning, isn't it?
She is.
That's getting cut.
She's charming.
That's got to get cut.
I always thought it was. Didn't we always like that bit where he says the Batman? He's putting words in Knox's mouth.
Yeah, I mean,
she calls it the giant bat story, and Batman says, "Oh, the Batman."
Yeah, it suggests again that this Batman is a Batman concerned with publicity and controlling the image of Batman. So he's obviously come up with the name Batman, and he's trying to feed it to them.
One of the not just running down the Nolan films all the time, but one of the other things this film has is not knowing where he got all the stuff. You know, it makes it even sort of more mysterious. Like what you just get to imagine how he got to this point.
I think
that joke, Bruce Wayne, that was the thing. I think you did the same. I always thought it was a Dracula joke.
But it's actually
a vanity joke, and it's funny.
Yeah, it's good. I'm not laughing, but it's good. Now, who amongst us here hasn't won? What is a private domain like this one here? This is the best bat cave
by far,
for my money.
And this is genuinely quite creepy as well.
Alright, it's VHS he's using, but
it's also the exact same shot that you seen earlier of those two talking.
Oh right, okay, so he's looking back.
It is, but that's the same shot in the film, isn't that?
Oh right, okay, right. Yeah, that's not ideal. So they're using the same footage from the actual camera.
I actually always liked his glasses as well.
Yeah, his glasses are quite cool. I'm glad he doesn't wear them over the costume later on. But yeah, quite good.
But good to take off like when he's
what does he wear when he's in the costume then?
I don't think contacts. He really needs them. He maybe just puts them on to see a bit
here we
better.
Are at Axe's Chemical.
Yeah. This is another good example. This is one of the great examples of how good Batman and the Batman costume can look again in a set where they can completely control the conditions, you know, the smoke and the lighting, and make him look. I think he looks genuinely intimidating here. It's difficult to know though what is based on what you've seen when you're a child. But I think that bits coming up with gangsters being like strung out over the factory. Look, I think that's quite frightening.
Can I just jump in here because of this safe scene? Right, one of the things I think is interesting is, remember when this came out, everyone talked about how serious it was and how different it was from the 66 version. they're in like a really obvious chemical factory, all wearing like massive gangster pinstripe suits, and they're next to a gigantic safe, like a big comedy safe that might get dropped on someone's head in a cartoon. Like, this is actually quite,
Yeah, it's a
comedy.
It's a bit of both, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
There are bits that are quite sinister, but the overall tone isn't that serious.
It's kind of a trick of the eye in that it's Burton's aesthetic makes people think it's so dark, but when you actually look at it and start watching it properly, you think this is actually quite comedic.
One of the real problems, Pat Hingle, Commissioner Gordon.
Yeah, this is something you'd have to say was improved on, definitely, in the Nolan ones.
I think he looks a bit better in this one than he does in any of the other ones from this point onwards.
Fair play to him, he saw the franchise through. That's more than I can say for some people.
I just, if you had someone who just looked a bit more like what you'd expect, that'd be enough.
Well, he's a bulldog breed, isn't he? Pat Hingle. I mean, it's like having Winston Churchill.
He seems ineffective, but maybe that's what they want in this.
He does. He doesn't look dynamic, let's put it this way. You can't imagine him driving around in the Batmobile helping Batman.
He looks
out.
like Eckhart's running rings around him.
Yeah. He's not even in the greatest shape. This is all great.
Nicholson looks okay running around here.
Yeah. It's a bit like a retirement home gone mad. Everyone's pushing 50 of a bum ticker, and they're now, again, right, to be harsh, like when Batman comes in there, it's quite a slow descent, but again, I would say it's iconic imagery. So in your head, like when we didn't have access to watch these things over and over again, in your head that lingered. Also,
and this is my opinion, I took this from the Grant Morrison book on superheroes,
mm-hmm.
the restrictions of the costume give him unique movements. The snapping, I think he called him a kind of snapping movement.
Okay.
That gives it a bit more character.
That's similar to RoboCop. In terms of movement.
And the suit does seem to make sense in this because I think people do shoot at him, and it does seem to protect him. It does seem like more of a thing, the suit.
Yeah, the suit looks more, I don't know, I don't want to say more resilient,
armoured
and just, let's call it what it is. The suit just looks cool. I mean, if you could have any of the suits, any of them at all, is this the one you'd have?
I'd have this one. I would actually have this one over the Batman Returns one. I know they're quite similar, but this is the one I'd have. What would you have?
I suppose I quite like the Returns one. It's the slightly more bulletproofy sheets.
It's not. Right? It's not a kind of muscle. You know, the muscle sculpting. It's more kind of plates.
Yeah. I think I like the Returns one slightly better.
I do like the Returns one, but I think I prefer this one. I think it's got a brighter yellow.
It's weird that Schumacher would take them back to this and go a wee bit further. I really don't want to get involved in the nipples conversation, but what I'm saying is that he'd go back the way rather than...
I also, in recent times, the Lego Batman film basically went with this costume design. In Ready Player One, the 2 seconds the Batman was in was this costume design. It seems like when you reduce it down, you always want something that looks like this.
Yeah. I mean, right, it's stupid in a way, the yellow sign, but it's just good. Yeah. It's like one of those things. Nolan could never have the yellow sign.
All of this doesn't make sense, so why can't you just have something else that doesn't make sense?
I mean, basically, like, every scene we've looked at so far has had something iconic in it.
Those two look pretty good squaring off there. 2 old men.
2 old men in the lunch queue. That smile is weird. That smile that Batman does there.
That's good though. When he turns around and he disappears.
Again,
it's
simple.
A little bit of powers. Very easy to do.
I'm so glad Tim Burton didn't have access to computer generated effects when he did this.
What do you think he would have done differently?
He'd have ballsed it up.
Do you think he would have used it to show him swinging about and things like that?
Yeah.
That's another thing that's good about the restrictions on the movement. There's nothing too silly in it.
I think the whole thing is almost like a play. Oh, you could do this. 1989 could be done as a play.
There's something about the chemical factory as well that I think when Chris Nolan made his new films, he was talking about the Burton films being quite an industrial era, and I think that looks quite good now. Like, all these things look painful.
Do you remember when I kind of knew it was going to happen. This is turning into a bit of a Nolan slagfest, but do you remember when they came out and they were really, really, really open about hating this, basically? When Batman becomes in,
they were disrespectful.
So disparaging.
They were really disrespectful. And Christian Bale said on more than one occasion, he said, "I've never seen Batman done right in any way ever. And if anyone did it right," he said, "Adam West." I can see what he's trying to say, but why don't you say you're doing it differently?
Well, I don't know.
You don't have to say you've never seen it done anywhere near correct.
I think that looks not great in hindsight.
That he said that?
Yeah.
I think that looks great. Disappearing away into the smoke.
I definitely think this is... I'm not saying... The Nolan ones are clearly better films as such, but this one's just got so many more iconic images in it.
Yeah. Iconic score, images.
But I see another one here, the hand coming out the sewer.
I feel like it's maybe... It might just be the time, but I feel like it's referenced more in popular culture and things like that.
I suppose people of our age and slightly older are now in power in terms of creative arts and stuff like that, so they're probably more likely to reference this one.
I suppose maybe like Heath Ledger over time could be. I always think it's quite funny that someone's tried to say that it's suicide to him over the phone.
Actually, you know what, it's maybe worth mentioning, I don't know if anyone's out there would want to actually get a hold of this, but there is an audiobook of this film read by Roddy McDowell, which is absolutely hilarious. It's a super camp reading. It's probably one of the most camp audiobooks of all time. It's well worth having a listen to, but the reading of the Knoxville scenes are really funny.
What does it do then? Just flesh out the story a bit?
It just fleshes out ever so slightly. It's not a lot bigger. Character motives, if I remember, are just sort of slightly more drawn out.
I think this is good, isn't it? This is funny. No?
Yeah, no, I think like in terms of like these kind of scenes,
yeah,
this is probably one of the
very Burton.
What's the high watermark? Probably Christopher Reeve, Margot Kidder's interactions in '78. This is quite close. She does seem a little bit out of her depth in this though.
Yeah, I was going to say if Keaton had someone to bounce off who was a bit more.
Oh my god, the Me Too movement coming out as well.
A bit more. Well, I don't know. I think she's got a bit of charisma. I don't know what it is.
She's obviously very iconic looking.
Yeah.
Statuesque. Can I say that?
So what's the problem then?
She's just
not
not
enough personality.
I suppose she was cast last minute, wasn't she? Because Sean Young was meant to have the part, and then she fell off the horse.
Do you think she'd have been better?
She's nuts. So maybe.
I think you need someone maybe a bit more passive in this role.
Well, yeah, I think you do, because everyone else is going so large. Like, if you think about it, like, Keaton is doing his thing, Nicholson's doing his thing. You know the scene I'm talking about when I say they're all going large, like they get that scene, which is coming up. You kind of need someone sort of bringing everyone back down to earth with a bang. Oh my god! Right.
Michael Gough.
Michael Gough's Alfred.
You like Michael Gough?
I like Michael Gough's Alfred. I don't like Michael Caine. So I've not really left with many options. No, I prefer this version of Alfred. I don't like military Alfred. I don't know why.
I don't like Keaton's outfit here. The shirt and tie look like my dad back from work.
Love Keaton's outfit for the exact same reason, except not my dad back from work, me back from work. Like you can see why this was sort of well received at the time, if you know what I mean. Because again, Keaton is someone who people could actually be.
It's then that's the weird thing then. So we're going to keep doing this, so I'm going to keep doing it. I'm comparing it to the Nolan films again.
Oh my god.
And maybe all Batman, even the animated.
All Batman.
Right, okay, let's compare it to.
When we say all Batman, we mean the Nolan films.
Michael Keaton seems nothing like, he's not a blue blood. He's not aristocratic in any way.
Yeah.
Whereas Christian Bale maybe could pull that off a little bit.
Yep. So
what is he supposed to be? Do you think of him? We don't, like, we've talked about this before. We don't think that this Bruce Wayne is famous worldwide or anything like that.
Yeah, that's I cannot understand the serious approach, saying, well, everyone would know who he is, blah 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 blah. I like the idea of the reclusive Bruce Wayne.
And do you imagine this character coming from generations of money still, or? I
think you've got to. I think that's sort of baked into it to a degree. The sort of not necessarily him, but all that. Like, He just addressed that in the previous scene. He says some of it is very much me, some of it's not me. So they're kind of addressing that he doesn't fit in around the surroundings.
He's got like almost more of a Howard Hughes type thing or something. Like strange and reclusive. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't feel like everyone knows.
Not
him.
A playboy.
Right, we've got to talk about this scene because again,
iconic.
Iconic. A word we're going to use. Obviously.
That's been done quite a few times. Simpsons. Other things does.
Kick-Ass, did they not?
Yeah, I can't remember if it was this scene, but
this again terrified when I was younger. Like absolutely terrified me.
This is another thing that looks genuinely painful and stuff when you see the sort of
Yeah.
implements and everything.
And again, a wee bit. Again, like they're almost treating Nicholson here like they would treat the hero now, and that you don't see him till later on.
Yeah. Isn't this a little bit of a... Is this meant to be a kind of homage to his earlier Roger Corman films and things like that?
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's great. Like I love the aesthetic
Yeah.
of it. Like just the red light flashing in the background and stuff like that. And just the dingy room again. It just is that shot, the close up of the tools and stuff.
Kind of covered in blood
Again,
and stuff.
Yeah, they're doing
Horrible.
a lot with nothing. Here's a question, right? The toxic waste. The toxic waste is obviously meant to have dyed his skin and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Is it meant to have driven him mad, or is it the fact that he's been disfigured that's driven him mad?
I don't know. I'm sure I seen Nicholson talking about it and saying something like that. Yeah, it basically that the accident's done something to the wiring in his brain, sort of thing. I always think of it as not just the appearance, like the chemicals or whatever. Like something's happened in his brain.
I think, right, hear me out here. I think the casting has queered this. I think that if it was a handsome Joker, like a traditionally handsome Joker,
So same script, just a different face.
who's disfigured, I think, and he's meant to be vain, as we discussed earlier on.
Yeah,
I think you'd think the fact that he's no longer handsome is what's driven them mad,
maybe.
and that's why he's disfiguring other people
if
later
it was
on.
like the guy that you see in the flashback when he's young playing him or something like that.
Yeah. Right, here we are, one of the great robes of all time. Can't say that anymore.
That's another example of Nicholson looking really cool in the
You
basic
can barely see him.
in the basic suit though. Do you know? No. If they just maybe kept him in something more like that through the whole film.
Yeah, I mean, there's
But
gonna
then
be
there's quite a lot of fun in the other outfits.
there's gonna be some questionable outfits later on when I turn Spriggan to mind.
Is either Keaton or Nicholson's performance in this in your top 10?
Sorry?
Is either Jack Nicholson or Michael Keaton's performance in this film in your top 10 performances of all time, not just superhero films?
Of all time acting performances,
Yeah.
I would probably have to say no.
No?
I don't think they'd be in my all-time top 10 performances.
No?
I mean, maybe Keaton creeping in.
See, I'd have Nicholson creeping in.
See,
I think this is one of the funniest. I think this is something I go to when I want fun, when I want to laugh.
I totally agree. I think this is very, very funny, but I do not know to what degree the fun is intended.
But it's good when you can watch something like this that isn't you don't have the pressure of watching a comedy.
Yeah, that's true.
I think it isn't. Oh, we'll see. Think of the outfits he has on it. You can see the purple there on his neck. That's not very good, is it?
That's not ideal. How did they miss that?
That still looks good though, doesn't it, overall?
Yeah.
The look.
Yeah, it looks good. His hair's a bit puffy. It's not like slick enough.
It's a bit dry, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's
The
got
overcoat
to
looks
be
a
a
bit
wig.
restrictive as well. Borrowed Bill Murray's quote from Groundhog Day.
Like that looks like it's hiding the weight a little bit though. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
it's not
hard.
hiding
It's
it
hard.
well
Sort of, it's a hard thing they've put together. It looks like his actual real Jack Nicholson hair would have been better if they just dyed it green, but maybe it just wouldn't take the green.
What, do you think that's a wig?
I think that's a wig.
Okay.
Do you know what? We look at it again. I like this kind of thing. I know I don't want to dwell on the hair, but I'm pretty sure that's a wig.
Is Keaton wearing a piece?
I think he is at the back,
Okay.
which is a bit. I seen him on David Letterman or something around this time, and he looked like he had less hair. So I think they've maybe sprayed it up or something.
This is maybe is this a bridge too far this year?
The swinging upside down.
Yeah, the hanging upside down thing.
I think it is. Yeah,
I mean,
I think that's a bit silly.
it should be like what?
I never noticed the weight bench in the background there before.
That's also a
Doesn't
stretch
look
too
like-
far. Maybe
Does it look like he's been...
But the only thing I'd say is this is 1989, Twin Peaks is 1990, and Agent Cooper does that thing where he hangs upside down as well. I don't know. Was this actually maybe a thing?
Maybe it's just where it's placed in the bedroom and stuff. Though it's iconic.
Yeah.
This is the bit in
It's
Kick-Ass.
totally amazing.
How much of this do you think was How much do you think general ad-libbing Nicholson's doing?
I think like your sort of your
Like,
noises and
Do you
things
think?
like
Do you
that.
think when he says "boob"?
Yeah.
Do you think that's? I mean, do you think he's on drugs or anything at any point when he filmed this? That's a suspect. Doesn't really matter.
Allegedly,
I just wonder if he's came in after a big night and
I
just
don't.
started
I
doing
don't think
things
it's
like that.
affecting the performance. I don't think it's affecting the performance. What do you think the dynamic was between Michael Keaton and Jack Nicholson on set?
I think it would be Michael respects Jack because he has to, or he's fired. I think they did seem to get on though. They're still friends today.
Oh really?
Jack Nicholson did some sort of screening of Birdman at his house or something like that. They've definitely maintained a friendship, and also there's clips of them on YouTube accepting awards together, looking like they're friends and stuff. He said Nicholson used to come in, fall asleep in the makeup chair, and say, "Just let the costume do the work, Keats." He called him Keats.
Okay.
Good trivia there, I think.
That is quite a good piece of trivia. Again, really expedient storytelling, which I like.
Yeah.
They're together now. I don't have to
Get lost, I've got work to do. Is what he says to her. Alfred ruins it.
Alfred.
This is one of the funny costumes. I mean that.
Yeah. I mean, where's he got that from so quickly?
Is that a beret? Is that what you'd call that? A French?
It's sort of. I don't know. Is that a fez? More?
Yeah, it's not a beret actually. But the wine glass is funny.
Yeah, the martini glass, and I just. No. Oh, this is great! Like, this is absolutely amazing.
This is one of the really cool ideas in it as well. Having the what do you call it? Like the actual makeup being making him look human again.
Yeah,
not human,
put
but
skin tone makeup.
yeah. This is another thing when you think maybe they can only do so many stories, but this does remind you of the Joker gangster scene in Dark Knight, I think, or reminds me of it.
And they got this scene's been done loads. I mean, the obvious example to bring us up is Dick Tracy. Like Dick Tracy wanted to be this film so bad, and it's got its own amazing set and stuff like that. But I mean, this was a big thing after this film, getting them hobsters together.
I don't think I ever realised that table was in the same room that he shot. Huh.
It's just a big open apartment, isn't it? But is that maybe the best suit in it?
Yeah, he looks good there.
I think that's probably the coolest suit.
There's just standard purple, orange shirt. Even the hat looks good.
Again, this is really tame. Like this scene where he's electrocuting the guy with the hand, but
it's quite sinister, isn't it? It's like the horrible charred skeleton.
Well, I remember it sticking in my head as being really scary.
And it's quite scary that he's talking to it. He does seem mad when he does that.
Yeah. But I mean, it's tame even if you consider it's compared to something like the end of Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah.
What certificate is this again? Is this a 12 or a 15?
I think I don't know what it was back then. I think it's all different now.
I think it was a 12.
Was it?
Returns was a 15.
Returns was a 15. I'm sure the video, the VHS was definitely 15. I don't know if they sometimes did different ratings, but I don't know.
I'm pretty sure this was a lower than Returns. But then, I mean, Returns is basically just pure filth.
Do you know how much time the Joker's on screen versus Batman? It doesn't seem to me like it doesn't actually seem to me when I watch it like it's overly Joker. It seems quite even, but it's Returns, isn't it, where they say Batman's only on screen for 20 minutes or something like that?
Batman, including Michael Keaton, or
that's what
Batman?
I know. I think this seems quite 50-50 to me.
Yeah.
If you include Bruce Wayne.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we're doing a good job of jumping back and forth. And again, what it's doing is it's letting us move at some pace. It's basically scene for scene. It's basically blow by blow.
And it does make it less boring when you're not just hanging around with Batman the whole time.
Yeah. Looking a bit po-faced. I mean, if you're being... They're basically sharing the scene together, aren't they? They're basically sharing the film together.
Yeah. Can you think of any other big actor at the time that you think would have made a good Joker? Or do you think they could have gone with an unknown? Or do you think it needs someone with his star power?
If you're talking about marketing, you kind of need the star power, don't you? It worked for Superman. Why wouldn't it work for this? But I don't know. What about someone like Mickey Rourke?
Maybe.
Have we even passed it by then?
1989. No, I don't think so.
Maybe Mickey Rourke.
Yeah, he'd been quite scary as well, actually. But then I suppose you change the Joker, you got to change Keaton probably. You'd have to match them up with different. You could go on all night, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, again, go back to the idea that it's two sort of middle-aged men battling out here. Put Mickey Rourke in there, he'd murder Keaton.
Yeah.
What about Al Pacino?
He's the Joker.
Why not? He's gone large before. He does it in his scenes in Heat.
I never thought about it. Maybe a bit too.
He's quite pointy.
Yeah. Bit small. Jack Nicholson, I suppose, isn't the tallest ever. De Niro, he could have done it.
Could not have done it.
What about the famous Robin Williams?
Absolutely not. Like, Robin never gets that far. I'm sorry. God rest his soul, but
he would have ruined it.
He would have destroyed it.
And he'd have been ad-libbing all over the place.
It would have been unwatchable. I know that they sort of burnt him, didn't they? Because they sort of led him along because they were trying to get Nicholson jealous.
Yeah, they used him to
lure Nicholson out. And then when they returned for him on Batman Forever,
they did it again, don't they?
No, like they actually wanted him that time, and he went, "Fuck you," because you did that to me last time.
I think this bit's cool when he goes to visit the site of the death.
He's got great shades on.
Great shades.
Great jacket.
Great serious expression. Great Bill Murray jacket.
Again, pure male fantasy stuff.
Yeah. He's mourning and looking cool, and the beautiful woman's chasing him around.
She's got a great hair on here. And the other thing is, it's quite Beauty and the Beast for some reason. And I know that's going to be alluded to later on.
At least in this film, you only see Batman at night.
Is that a scarf? Great shades. Good pair of Roy Orbisons. Rose each, that's a bit cheap. You consider money. Good leather gloves as well, actually.
Yeah. I might need to get that outfit, actually. Just leather gloves, shades, black overcoat.
I'm going to start.
Then I'll just pretend Mum and Dad have gone. I'll just put 2 roses down outside the house. She's getting close, but he won't let her in. Male fantasy.
Let her in. She's getting too close to her story here.
This is definitely a bit where you see that Nicholson doesn't have the physique that you might expect for Joker.
Yeah, I mean, is, and I'm going to use the word again, iconic outfit, but the trousers, they're far too high. I mean, it's basically a pair of eyes peering over the top of a waistband.
This is another one where I make a mistake every time. There's someone that comes on here initially I always think's Nicholson. He's a really rubbish looking fat clown.
That's him, alright.
That guy. I always think, oh, Nicholson looks terrible there. It's another cool little touch though. They only put the Jack Nicholson's lips and the kind of I don't even know how you describe it, but the lipstick
like a
makeup
French or something like that.
Is different. His eyebrows look really scary. It's good.
It's funny how unamused Keaton looks. Yeah. He's watching the man perform.
Do you think
it's a huge disconnect here? Sorry, there's a huge disconnect here, isn't there? Really, between him being a gangster and now this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
There's no explanation.
Do you think Michael Keaton has done only what the script could have allowed him to do anyway, or do you think he's made some interesting choices as an actor? Some people say he plays it like a distracted trauma victim. Do you think he thinks that, or do you think he's just flunked into that if he's done it?
I don't know. I definitely like the sort of the performance of, like, considering again not a lot of lights and stuff like that.
Yeah,
it's definitely engaging. He definitely seems like there's something going on behind the eyes. I like the performance. Yeah. I think he has brought something to it. I mean, the wrong person in this role could have been like disastrous.
Because I suppose he is a little bit twitchy and stuff sometimes.
Just things like that when he's like watching the mime and that, and he looks really pissed off.
And
he kind of does that in the second one as well when it's like when Alfred's like, "Must you be the only lonely winged thing in Gotham?"
I seen an interview with him talking about the second one, and he said it was like doing a parody of himself, and I didn't really understand it, because to me it just seemed like basically the same performance, but maybe it's not.
You know, maybe that's what he means. Maybe he was just repeating. He wasn't developing.
I always thought, it was really cool that he doesn't really flinch in that whole thing.
Nice little touch that Jack waves to him as well.
Mm-hmm. I think this is another one of the funny bits.
Or is this the... Right. There's a... I know he's after Vicky Vale, but there's a bit of a gay couple vibe between him and Bob, isn't there?
Yeah.
There's like...
Something sad about that arrangement.
Yeah, this...
That boxing glove is funny.
Is that a homage to the Elvis thing? The Elvis
Maybe,
film?
because he does shoot a TV later on as well, so
Yeah.
maybe that's like
I feel like that might
the
be
idea that he
Keaton.
destroys TVs and things. Where is that supposed to be?
I don't know.
Is that Axis Chemicals?
It must. Maybe. I mean, maybe
I
that's.
never thought of that as being Axis Chemicals, but it looks like it.
Yeah, it's a good point. That probably is Axis Chemicals.
I mean, that's quite funny. The pipes and all that in the background. Keaton relatable again, looking a bit stressed.
I mean, Michael Goff's Alfred, being fair to Michael Caine, is probably a bit more wooden, isn't it?
It is, but it is quite good that he keeps out the way a bit.
Yeah.
You know, he keeps out the road.
You're not getting an earful every time you come in.
He basically is just fixing his sandwiches and that, and fixing his clothes, and doing what he's paid to do.
Oh my god, it sounds great.
Not chiming in with opinions.
Got another story about the war. I think his glasses too. Yeah. I've made up my mind. Keaton's the best. Just looking at him there, he looks brilliant. Nice little leather tie as well, is that?
I'm not sure. Why does he say? Oh yeah, because I was going to say at this point he doesn't know that Jack Napier killed his parents, does he?
No.
He only realises that when he says that line.
That moral line makes no sense.
I wonder what we can maybe talk about, things that might have got cut, because there are things in this that don't. Obviously, there's plot holes in every film, but there's a few things in this that really don't make sense, I think. But none that distract in a major way. Her flat looks nice. Her apartment, I would maybe say.
Again, this is the thing where everything is really heavily stylized.
Yeah.
For better and for worse.
Is that sort of almost yuppie-ish? Is that?
Yeah. I mean, this
all
whole
the-
thing's yuppie.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
But it's not. Well, I suppose it is. It's kind of gothic and stuff, isn't it? It's not. I don't know.
I don't know. I'd say like
Yeah, that looks like a yuppie.
apartment.
Yeah.
The polo neck and that.
Uh-huh.
Turtleneck, sorry. Why?
Oh, that's
right,
something you know about, isn't it? The photos of the people smiling. I never really noticed before.
yeah.
Or he's tested his poison.
Yeah, that was the Corto Maltese or something like that, right? And in the book and the audiobook, it's meant to be that he's been doing stuff.
Right. Okay.
But
He's been doing stuff in that place.
yeah, he's been testing stuff.
Right.
No, sorry, it's not that he's been testing stuff. He found out about the Corto Maltese and he's replicating the formula. I think, if I remember correctly, it's actually not that he's doing it. This is where he's got the idea from.
Right. Okay.
But this is all a bit spurious, isn't it? Like the idea that he starts fancying her. Like this is.
Yeah. Doesn't really make sense. So he's just caught her in a photo that Bob was taking photos.
Yeah.
Why is he taking photos?
Right. again, it comes to like sharing the film and stuff like that. They're literally competing over the same woman and stuff as well. Like Michael's got nothing. Can't stop laughing at this being an Axis Chemicals now.
I mean, that's something they would never do either now, which seems a bit silly, but is good. The fact that Bob's got that Joker logo on his jacket.
Yeah.
And all the gangsters do.
I mean, again, it's not that far removed from 1966. I think
She's about to trade up. That's funny.
I think we've talked about this before, but every time we watch it, we discover something new, which is ridiculous considering how many times we watched it. Like that thing being an Axis Chemicals, how come we've never noticed that before?
I know. I don't know where I thought he was, but that's got to be where he is.
I know we spend a lot of our time at Axis Chemicals, but I sometimes wish there was more stuff here. I wish there was a little bit more than Batman just blowing up the Batmobile.
Yeah, you wish there's more happening at Axis Chemicals.
Yeah, I wish there's maybe a wee bit more of a fight here because.
I mean, I love Axis Chemicals. I could spend all day there, but
2 tickets to Axis Chemicals, please. For
but that would be a big chunk of the film in there if you went there again.
I don't care. Like in the Batman NES game, like that's the opening level is running through Axis Chemicals and it's bloody brilliant.
That'd be a funny producer note. More Axis Chemicals.
I mean. It's even these news presenters, like this sticks in my head as well. Like everything is.
It seems scary. This is another thing. It seems like there's something about the poison smile that looks genuinely painful.
Yeah, and I think like this obviously plays out over time as well. The idea that they can't wear makeup anymore and stuff is quite funny. And again, I would say that links back to the idea that he's concerned with vanity,
the appearance and everything.
It's completely lost because Jack Nicholson isn't handsome.
These are the bits of the films that look a bit more 80s or something.
Yeah.
Like late 80s, it looks a bit more. There's only a few bits where you think it looks of that time, I think.
Anytime where it's people in ordinary clothes.
Yeah.
I mean, this is this is great.
Do you think Nicholson is a funny guy? Do you think? In real life?
I don't know.
Did you think a lot of this is his humour? I mean, but even that using Brand X.
Yeah,
that must have been him. That's pretty funny.
I think I don't really know.
And he's kind of funny in like One Flew Over the Cuckoo's
looks like a comic image. That one there, like
yeah. Wait, do we ever find out?
Love that joke.
What came first, this film or that? Maybe that's too specific. Actually, forget that. Keaton looks great there. Great eyes.
Is he in his PJs?
I think he's in a wee blue shirt.
Oh, okay. There's a lot of Keaton watching TV in this and in Returns.
Yeah.
He is a very media-centric Batman, similar to Ben Affleck's Batman, actually, in Batman vs Superman, where I'm beginning to wonder how much detecting goes on and how much watching TV and making.
Nicholson's hair looks a bit better there, a bit less dry.
That's such a tiny little thing with that spinning Joker head. I totally love it.
What is that? It's just a little graphic.
It's not Jack Nicholson's face, I'll tell you that. It's
that's the
Joker
logo that appears in the jackets, I think.
Yeah. It's not Jack Nicholson's face, though, is it? It's clearly not even based on it. It's actually the Joker, which again leads to this sort of confusion.
Is this the file that says he's got an aptitude for the arts and sciences?
Yes. Sorry, yes. This is the file that reveals that not only is Jack Napier a science whiz, but he also, coincidentally, almost as if someone's insisted it be in there, is excellent at art and design. Has an HND in art and design.
This is the bit you were talking about with no makeup.
Yeah. This is good.
A big laugh for all the grown-ups.
Yeah. How well was received was this when it came out? I mean, I know it made a lot of money, but were people ultimately disappointed? Fans were disappointed, weren't they?
I don't know. Well, I don't know. You talk a lot. No, I think you hear more about disappointment after a period of time setting in and realising that. Do you know what? Was
Kevin
not just
Smith not gripe about it a lot?
Well, he talks about loving it at the time.
Right,
it's only years later that he had problems with it. But it's just the usual thing where you get caught up in the hype and you think it's great. Imagine seeing that suit for the first time and everything in the big screen and all that. I think you would just overlook all the problems.
I don't know. I feel like I've heard people say before that like it was disappointing ultimately for them when they watched it.
This is one of those things that we've talked about before about it being good that it's not made by a fan.
Yeah.
And it's clearly a complete story from beginning to end. All the things that they've done that when you're younger you kind of thought, or at points thought, oh maybe this isn't good, it's not definitive, turn out to be better, giving the Joker an origin, tying those two together is even quite good. I know you hate it sometimes, like, or fans hate it, but yeah, even the idea that he killed his parents,
that's
like,
good storytelling.
If no one had ever seen or knew of Batman, you could show them that film and it would make basic sense from beginning to end.
And the other thing is that you in 1989, back in the day, you didn't know you were getting a sequel.
Yeah.
So you don't know you're going to get a chance to explain that origins. I think that's good storytelling, good script writing.
they weren't holding things back.
I mean, again, that's us retroactively changing our opinion, because
Yeah.
at a certain point we would have went like, it would have been good to get a fan behind the camera, someone who takes this, oh god, I can't even believe I ever said this, takes the material seriously.
Yeah.
But I mean, Burton's very open about basically not reading any of the comics and
But
stuff like
it's
that.
and Nolan as well. He doesn't, not a fan really.
But he's got Goyer like on a wee leash and stuff like that, hasn't he?
But
Telling him what to think.
all the best films. Bryan Singer wasn't an X-Men fan, and I like those films now. Richard Donner wasn't really a Superman comic fan, really.
No, he wasn't.
So, and then whenever a real fan gets in charge, it goes wrong, I feel.
The guy that did Daredevil, can't remember his
Yeah.
name, and Ghost Rider.
Suppose maybe now you're getting more
Zack Snyder.
fans in front of the Marvel ones and things. But
Are they really low, or are they not just saying?
maybe they're just
I
saying
think they're just saying. Right, the fun levels are about to go for the roof here. This bizarre meeting.
This is probably another kind of #MeToo, her role not being great.
Yeah, damsel in distress
Yeah.
role.
Yeah. Sit there and be terrorised by the Joker, then you can sit there and be saved by Batman. Otherwise, keep your mouth shut.
Yeah, no, it's not great. Purple gas though looks amazing, and so does the gas mask. Actually, it looks really cool. I just don't like them.
Kind of orange and green Joker
Nice
shirt colours.
Nice movie prop if you could get that.
Nice little yuppie restaurant.
Yeah, this is good.
That looks good.
Yeah, nice shot. It is really, I mean, I love Tim Burton, or I loved Tim Burton, but it is quite
sort of static, or
yeah,
almost.
the whole thing's very static and basic coverage, I guess is what you'd say. But this is a great scene.
So what are his strengths then? Is it just the sort of
it's
the
art
design,
direction, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's the art direction and concept, maybe the outsider's point of view,
like an atmosphere and stuff?
One of the reasons Returns is my favourite film of the Batman series is because it's sort of the fully realisation of the Burton image and the aesthetic. And I know that's too much for some people, but I think
Camera seems to move a bit better in that film at
he's
points.
becoming more accomplished as he goes on.
Yeah.
I mean, he can move his camera, and like I say, like it usually has like sweeping shots and that, but he doesn't use the frame well all the time.
I suppose that's the thing about this film, is like to what extent is it a Tim Burton film? Do you know, like it's sort of him, and then it's a large part the producer, isn't it?
John Peters.
And then it's Nicholson probably for quite a lot of it. And then obviously Keaton's not getting any say.
Burton talks about this film being a total nightmare to make, doesn't he? Like he totally put him off doing it again.
Also, Keaton gets no say in too.
I feel like Keaton's almost like his Burton sidekick on this journey. Like he knows he shouldn't be there. Obviously, as you claim, they were burning effigies of him in the street every day. He was lucky to be in it.
Do you think this dance is funny? I think it's pretty good.
This whole thing's great.
That's a really good outfit as well. It's ridiculous.
I mean, if you, I know it's gonna maybe turn like later on in the film, but I would say we really start ratcheting it up here, because there's Batman's made an appearance, but there's something about to make an appearance that's totally amazing. We're also gonna get an iconic entry here that they imitate time and time again after this.
I think this film is one of the few superhero ones that stays pretty interesting from beginning to end. No, even when it goes big at the end.
Little bit of advice here for Zack Snyder: not a lot of action in it. It's mainly just conversational and encounters and sparring. I'd say sparring scenes
and kind of the build up between those two meeting.
Yeah. What's her deal again? So she's a fashion photographer, and
I think
she wants to be taken more seriously. Is that
right? And she was out in this war zone.
Right.
I think that's a fake place, isn't it? Corto.
Yeah, it's a DC place.
And that was it, really. And that was her sort of trying to get serious.
But hang on a second. I mean, is that maybe the part of the problem with this Kim Basinger casting?
You can't really believe her in a war zone.
Her in a war zone.
Yeah, no, not at all. She
Sean
seems
Young,
like a bit of an airhead.
Sean Young, you probably could imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but I don't think I would pick her either, though. If it was, You know, I'm not sure. I'd have to look at who was going around at that time, but
We're kind of out of the era of brassy women like Margot Kidder
Yeah.
and what's her face from Raiders of the Lost Ark. So I don't know. Glenn Close.
maybe.
Again, there's a level of fun in these scenes that you don't really see so often,
Yeah.
and like
Yeah.
again, it's quite an adult film, but still quite fun.
And he is, but he is quite threatening here as well, though.
Yeah.
It's also like it's one of those quite scary bits.
It just sort of keeps shifting, doesn't it? Like we're about to see if this flower thing. The hat's obviously a bit of a problem here again.
I think this is scary,
Yeah, this is horrible.
but it's a bit more about what you imagine happened off screen.
It's what you've imagined. Why it seems like she's allowed it to happen and stuff like that, which I
Yeah.
assume means that there's some kind of poisoning going on.
Uh-huh.
The other thing is that what would it be? At this time, you had Jeffrey Dahmer who was pouring poison in people's ears and stuff like that in real life. Acid, in people's ear, trying to make zombies out of them. There's a bit of a feeling that she's becoming.
I mean, she's not that bad there, like, really,
No.
but it's, I don't know, it's a bit sinister.
And then he throws her out of a.
That's scary later on,
Yeah.
when he sort of smashes the mask.
Why does he think she can get him access to Batman?
I don't know. Was it because she was? Is any of the story with Knox coming out at that point? I don't know.
Why is he not going after Knox?
Does he want to chase Knox? He wants to chase her. That's scary.
Yeah.
Because he could have done some.
But
real
then like, we
damage
go
there.
straight from that to this.
Yeah.
It's funny how she starts patting him down again. It's kind of like sort of.
Like that she would be nice enough to do that almost.
Yeah. But you can sort of see, like, I mean,
Yeah.
going back, oh, this is brilliant. But like a sort of summer movie, everyone's hyped up. You can see how things like that would get big laughs in the cinema and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And that'd be, people would respond well to it.
Brilliant
Finally
shared
there.
experience.
I mean, Jack Nicholson says it himself here, but the gadgets and stuff like that are amazing.
I'd love to see this on the big screen. Maybe one day.
Have we never seen? No, we haven't seen it on
No.
the big screen, have we?
I think Cineworld put it out once, but I don't even know if it was in Glasgow or anything. But
Here we go. Here's a wee bit of Batman running.
this is where he doesn't look so good,
There it is.
and it's because you're seeing him do things like that. That's like the argument for the Axis Chemicals. Back to Axis Chemicals again, but when you have him going around somewhere like that where he can just walk basically,
Yeah.
or come out of shadows like he did even in the opening scene, when you get him running around here in the open,
But
it
hang
doesn't
on.
look as good.
We're doing a disservice here by not talking about this
The car.
Batmobile. Yeah, which is amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to go back to Chris Nolan. The Tumbler is a total joke. Absolute joke of a car.
I don't think they call it the Batmobile in this at any point either. Not that that's a big.
Actually,
I was just going to say, like,
The difference is you don't have to call that the Batmobile. It's pretty obvious that that is the Batmobile.
the big test with all these things are always like what kids like in the toys and what sort of endures. And see when you go and play arcades where you can go
Yeah.
any of the cars, you never
Yeah.
pick the Tumbler. There's a good arcade where you can go any of them and be like this one or the Batman Forever one. Or any toy you get, it would always be back to this kind of stuff. You're never going to pick the Nolan ones for anything like that.
Interestingly enough, the Arkham Knight game lets you drive this Batmobile. It's an add-on, but it can't turn into a tank like the sort of Tumbler one can and stuff. I still always play this one, even though that's a massively limiting feature, not being able to turn it into a tank, because it's just so much cooler.
Do you think we'll ever see this kind of Batman again in our lifetimes?
Yes.
I suppose. Did they go back to it a little bit with Ben Affleck?
Yeah, it's more like this. There's certainly reference. Well, there's the music in the last one, and also the reference to fighting penguins and that.
And the cave being a little bit more
Yeah.
less boring.
Shields, amazing. That's just so Burton, totally Burton-esque.
I wonder if you'll ever get a director and they'll go full Burton because they really grew up, loving.
Well, we're kind of at that stage. It should be now, if any, ever. But even those cars are quite cool, like the bad guys' cars and stuff.
Yeah. Was they're kind of colourful and everything.
again, this is all like, if you think about it, like, I'm not going to mention Nolan here, I'm going to go the other way. Right, see, if you look at Snyder's Batman, who's like jumping around constantly and stuff like that seems like that should be right.
This is
more satisfying in some way.
Yeah.
Because it's more effort to do this stuff.
And because it sort of seems real, for all the talk of Nolan that being real, that looks like quite
someone
a real
is actually
thing to
doing
do.
that there.
Yeah. And it also like looks fun, the idea of getting away from them like that with the grappling hook. It just looks so much better when Gotham's more extreme like that.
I actually quite like this fighting style as well, which is kind of like a slow kung fu. Right, why are there so many berets in this film? It's like every second person is wearing a beret. Why does he take the footage off her? Is it because he's worried that she's got a photo of his face there?
Yeah, that's it. That was very comic booky, that shot. I'm pretty sure that's like a specific Dark Knight panel or something.
It's not a million miles away from 66.
Mm-hmm. The stroke's a bit overused though.
I know, but it is.
And they not only that, they use it twice in this film. They do it at the end again. Quite obvious to stunt doubles these days, but
yeah. You stunt double for that?
Well, that they didn't quite do that joke to the extent I thought they did. I thought he just kicked him out straight away.
Nice high kick. But again, I like the idea of a sort of Morpheus. I quite like the idea of a sort of stationary Batman who just sort of fights like that, statuesque.
Yeah. Now this is brilliant.
Leather cape as well. Oh yes, the journey home. It's really annoying. I want to turn up the music here, but I can't because of the commentary. Just looks cool.
It doesn't move great a lot of time in the car, does it?
It's a wee bit shaky.
Is that because that's a shell basically over a kind of? Surely with today's technology, they could make something like that even better now.
Yeah, you definitely. I mean, they could definitely improve upon this. This is great. It's almost like they've just gone completely full Burton here. Like,
like there's certain parts that are full Burton, and this is one of them.
And the music here, like even Elfman's going like full Burton as well. This is great with the light and stuff.
Do you think this is like a set, or
I think this is actual a mixture? Woods? I think some woods here and some set. I think the next shot is it not real.
It's good that she tries to look at them and stuff.
Yeah, this is all very German expressionistic, and again Beauty and the Beastie in some way. Like there's some kind of interesting monster woman dynamic going on.
Taking her back to his castle.
The
games. Male fantasy stuff again though.
Yep, I mean pure male fantasy. You can never know who I am. I am your
Stay away from me, I'm bad news.
Look, just because I have a cool car and a cool outfit,
and I can fight all the villains,
doesn't mean I'm interested.
Just 'cause I've got a cool car and a cool outfit and all the money and I'm the best fighter doesn't mean you should love me.
Just because I'm taking you home to my house doesn't mean anything's going to happen, so don't get your hopes up.
Don't pressure me.
Again, certain design issues that are not realistic but just cool. Why is that bat in a cage? That always bugs
I don't know
me.
what I was going to say.
Always winds me up. Like
why keep it?
Yeah, why are all the other bats sort of doomed? Are they free to sort of do what they want? This one bat is doomed to be in this cage. I mean,
You get back in your cage.
I'm going to be generous here and say there's something wrong with it and he's healing it, but I mean, it seems unlikely. It's highly unlikely.
Think he's just decided to that one. I'm going to put it in a cage.
I think he's probably told Alfred to get it. That's what Alfred does during the day.
It scratched me. Get that one in its cage.
that bat's been looking at me weird. It's judging me, my lifestyle.
The costume looks really bulky here.
Yep, and it's quite good. You can't see his eyes, but it also looks a bit silly.
The mass poisoning plot was kind of used in Batman Begins again, just for the limited plots
Yeah.
theme.
Often that's what I do. I'll slag off something and steal every single asset of it. But I get to be fair, that's a sort of standard Batman plot, isn't it? He seems to always be stopping some kind of poisoning.
You say that Batman watches TV a lot, but the Joker appears on TV quite a lot. He does that quite a bit in Dark Knight.
Quite a lot, yeah. Well, it's quite, I mean, that's quite an interesting comparison. I do love that bit in Dark Knight with Heath Ledger's got the policeman and stuff like that. It's cool, but it's quite weird. There's a straight comparison if you know what I mean. Imagine, think about Heath Ledger's appearance on that versus Jack Nicholson dancing around for that trolley and stuff like that, and what's going to come later on. Two quite polar opposite versions of the Joker. Okay, so she wakes up after her amazing night with Batman.
Mm-hmm. Do you think that's a little bit hashtag me too? Like,
yeah, I
seems
think
to have woken
certainly.
up unconscious.
Well, not really. I mean, the thing is, it's clear what he was doing. He was trying to recover that film, but I guess some unkind critics might say that yes, it's a bit weird that he's sort of reaching into a certain place and then she's unconscious and stuff.
She wakes up home.
Yeah, I'm just gonna not talk about it now before I get myself into trouble.
You think a lot of Knox was maybe cut out, or do you think he's in?
Yeah, I think Knox is on the cutting room floor.
Where it belongs.
Large chunks. It's guys with their makeup getting worse. Is that see that Action News? Is that the same as Action Comics? Is that the Action Comics logo?
I've not noticed that. It could be. Another TV gets destroyed.
Right, there's the worst trousers in this whole thing. I mean, the outfits are getting there now, aren't they?
But would Nicholson or they say, we're not trying to look cool, like I'm trying to be funny at points, so
I mean,
this is funny?
I suppose they would, but right, I don't want to turn the Joker into some kind of, like, no, sometimes to be like, yeah, and sort of, oh, he's so cool because he's so dark and that, but I mean, he should look a bit cool.
But it's like that suit we were talking about in the beginning. If you just had that the whole way through it.
Yeah,
perfect.
I mean, that's all I'm asking for. I'm asking for a man in his early 50s in a sort of respectable purple suit. Oh, another great Keaton outfit here.
Another great Keaton outfit, another great cup of tea provided by Alfred. Another great looking through a file. God, it's the life.
Shoes up, brown shoes,
yep.
grey socks, this combo. Terrible outfit for Keaton. Almost straight away after. Number 9. Yeah.
Got the piece on, got the glasses on.
This is two roses again.
Special move.
Yeah.
I think that jacket looks quite good.
There's something wrong.
What? Just wrong shape, wrong size.
Wrong colour, I think. What is that? Sort of shit brown?
Should be black, shouldn't it?
Yeah. I mean, that would be nice in terms of just storytelling.
Oh, it looks like it's hanging off him. He's skinny. This is quite good. This is quite sort of like revest, Superman revest. The idea that he's kind of trying to tell her. And all
yeah. Why does he decide to tell her? Because of the night before?
Didn't Alfred say something to him there along the lines of why not just tell her the truth?
Right, okay.
And he sort of thought, I'll just give it a shot.
Why does he threaten to beat Alfred later on then when he tells him the truth? Because
he didn't say you can do that.
Right, okay. Of course, he's his butler, he's in his employ.
I think this is all good because this is something that doesn't get played on as much anymore, as we've said before, the old secret identity.
Yeah.
and it's made it out to be a big deal here.
This kind of lends itself to that narrative that Bruce Wayne is quite a self-obsessed character, though, which is quite interesting.
All about him.
Yep, it's all about Bruce.
You could just say, like, no one cares.
No one cares, Bruce.
We all know you're Batman.
In fact, we've been actively trying to ignore it.
Costume better with the coat off?
Yeah, definite improvement. Is that green?
I think it's a green waistcoat or cardigan or something.
A cardigan.
It looks like a wee cardigan underneath. Kim looks great again.
Kim is looking good. Again, I mean that in a standard way. She just looks nice. Michael looks
She just
nice
looks
too.
like a nice person.
Michael looks nice too. Everyone looks nice. Don't come after me.
Jack looks nice. He's going to come in and look nice.
Everyone looks nice. There's no discrimination here for or against. Unless you're Chris Nolan. I'm actually finding this scene quite frustrating right now.
Because you want him to get on with it, or
Yeah, I kind of want this to
just move on?
move on.
I mean, this is quite good as well. I mean, Joker confronting him as Bruce Wayne's quite a nice idea.
Yeah, no, I think this had to happen.
Yeah.
This scene, like, obviously has to happen. This is what, how far into it, this makes sense that they'd meet once before they'll meet again. This is like what I guess you'd call as the first culmination,
which
is when, like, the hero is close to reaching his goal, but something falls apart, something falls away.
This is a bit far-fetched, but quite fun.
I think, right, here's the problem with this scene, and I think this has been said before. Keaton seems like he's really up for this scene.
Yeah.
It seems like it's been forced by Michael, whereas everyone else seems like they're just sort of taking it in their stride.
It's I think I had someone say it as he would have just said, "Look, just let me do one scene with Nicholson out of costume,"
Okay.
and that's what it comes across as.
It does make
that
sense.
He wants to act with Jack.
I think fair play. That makes sense narratively as well. It's weird though, like, when I actually look at the structure of this, all the other films basically try to replicate it, don't they?
Yeah.
If you think about it, this
all the Batman films.
Yeah. Oh, like, this scene is basically the scene in the circus in Batman Forever.
Yeah. Oh yeah, wait, what, where the villain confronts Bruce Wayne at some point? Is there a bit in the
There's
Returns? Catwoman, I suppose, maybe?
In Dark Knight, when he's at the party.
Yeah.
He runs away and comes back as Batman.
You think Nicholson looks like, can you see his reaction? I don't mean as the Joker, but as Jack Nicholson. To Keaton's overblown.
I certainly think it feels like I have trouble reading what the Joker thinks here.
Yeah.
And I think that sort of suggests that Jack Nicholson doesn't know what the Joker's meant to be thinking here. I mean, this seems like something out of a play, this monologue. And not in a good way, like I was saying earlier on.
It would be a good play though, the film.
We could do a Gatey Theatre run of Batman 1989.
The other thing is, what's Bruce Wayne's plan here? Is he planning to get shot? Yeah. He's not thinking he can actually do anything with that coal poker thing.
No.
I mean, they've got guns. People say he sounds like, I've heard someone else say he sounds quite like Beetlejuice when he shouts, "Come on."
Yeah, that's fair enough. That's a fair comment. It's funny that Joker's got a tiny little gun here. But again, it doesn't. That's a terrible plan, really, isn't it?
And you think that's definitely his plan? Get shot?
I feel like, right, I know it's a wee bit Clark Kent and a wee bit cliche, but it would almost be better if he ran away.
And came back in costume?
He doesn't even have to come back in costume, but she has to think he's been a coward and ran away.
But if he ran away, he has been a coward, hasn't he? runs away and doesn't come back. That's very close. That's just the definition of being a coward.
He's
It's
living.
nothing to do with what she thinks of
living.
it.
That's a great shot, and this is brilliant. The shot of
Yes.
this shot here is incredible.
And it's funny even when he points at her.
What is this called? The bird. It almost looks like it's been played in slow motion. That is the bird dance. Is this what this is called? This thing he does.
More ad-libbing. God, I love Jack. Yeah, so what was his plan there?
His plan was to be shot in the chest by a small gun. It came off perfectly. Right, he couldn't have ran away. I recognise that now, without coming back. for fear of being branded a coward.
So you don't think his plan was actually to do something with that stick?
No, I believe he planned to get shot. Hence
Right.
why he had that little tiny silver tray.
I just thought he might have thought, I'll do something with this, and if I get shot, the tray will help.
Knox looks decent here.
Yeah. What do you suppose he was in there?
Yeah, just in case everything looks quite nice. Like again, the set's nice. Everything looks cool.
We were talking the other day, and I said that I thought Jack Nicholson was one of the great wish fulfillment characters.
I remember you saying that.
And you don't think that's the case? Do you want
well-
to explain why I think that is?
Yep, explain it. I'll say something that riffs on that afterwards, but
Because he just does whatever he wants, and he's nearly 50.
but don't people who are nearly 50 kind of have that luxury anyway? Isn't that so when you start to think, I'll just be myself?
Maybe. I think there's something about
Is that what
the
this is the
constant
story of?
laughing,
Is that the underpinning
Yeah.
thematics of this film?
giving into the madness, but not in a Heath Ledger way. Giving
Is-
into the madness, but still enjoying a glass of martini.
Is this film ultimately, is the chemical accident maybe meant to be representative of some kind of midlife crisis?
Maybe.
And then, so once he goes through his midlife crisis,
Two guys maybe having a midlifer.
yeah, potentially.
Keaton sounded a bit earlier, but
What I'll say that will sort of support what you're saying there, that I think is quite interesting, which I can't remember where I heard this, but I really love it. The idea that people go on about how Burton is just obsessed with the villains and stuff like that, and how he doesn't care about Bruce Wayne. And I heard someone say, and I think this is brilliant, that's because Bruce Wayne is like Tim Burton in that he's introspective and quiet and withdrawn from society, and the Joker is who Tim Burton wants to be, the
Right,
sort of
okay.
glowing sort of
colourful.
showman.
Yeah.
It's colourful. So that kind of makes sense, doesn't it? It's quite interesting.
Yeah.
I quite like that take. I loves it because it gives me ammunition to sort of defend this film. Here we go. Her TV appearance. Again, not clearly explained how he's doing this. Oh, there they are. I mean, that is...
And that's another funny setup, that kind of fireside chat look
Yeah.
with the waistcoat and everything.
I feel like that singing voice thing might be a reference to something that we've never seen.
In the film,
Yeah. It's totally ridiculous that the mayor is looking across the screen as if he can see onto the other TV.
yeah, it doesn't make sense at all. The Joker moves it to the side, but there's only four. I just doesn't make any sense.
This is in the audio book, I think, or is it in just the regular book? But is it clear that the money he's dumping is all fake?
I don't think it is, because that's something I think only really recently, either you told me or I noticed something, but I didn't know that. I never thought of it as fake.
I'm sure in the audiobook it mentions that it's like it's his face on all the
I
money.
think maybe it does turn out that you see that at some point, but
I think the
I don't
money's
think
fake.
of it that way. But I mean, obviously that's what it's meant to be. There's other things that have been cut out here. That one thing that I read somewhere, maybe on IMDb or something, that you'd say, why is there no police around? And there's another scene that was cut where he poisoned the police beforehand, so that they're not present.
This is probably the oddest Keaton costume. Isn't it?
The jeans.
Yep. Mum's jeans.
The polo neck would be
Polo-
fine. I think it's the
It's not a
jeans as
polo, it's
well.
turtle, isn't it?
Is it?
Is that a turtleneck?
What's the difference?
Polo neck's like a... Not that. Polo neck, I'm sure, is like a sort of like shirt. Like,
Alright, okay.
that's a turtleneck, I think. Turtleneck sweater. It looks great on.
Huge puffy hair, yeah.
This is a wee folder. I'm collecting.
Lot of fun facts.
A scrapbook. Just a scrapbook on his parents' murder.
Score helping a big.
In the background, 2 bats out of their cages. Unlike that one bat. He's locked up, he's in bat jail. Good acting there. Here we go.
What do you call this? The way they've made it look here. It's all weird.
They've shot in slow motion and they've shot at an extreme low angle in order to sort of warp the bodies and stuff
Right,
like that to make it look odd.
To make it seem like a dream or something, or
Yeah.
just what he's thinking.
White lens.
It's scary though. It's creepy.
Yeah.
This is quite like the Batman vs Superman.
Yeah, there's
Isn't it?
similarities, isn't it? But they're both ripped from Frank Miller's, aren't they?
Are they?
Is the pearls not directly from your one?
Is it? That wasn't even. I suppose that's not in Batman issue 1 or anything, is it? It's not.
I don't think so. I think like the breaking of the pearls and stuff like that is a Frank Miller thing.
What did you think about Nolan doing a play rather than Zorro?
Odious in the extreme. I mean, don't get me wrong, he's probably more realistic as usual, but frankly, I can't stand the man.
Right, let's talk about this guy.
This guy looks amazing. Not him. If you're seeing the one that's ripping the pearls from her neck, not him. I mean the person playing the young Jack Nicholson.
Looks like a mixture of Nicholson and Sinatra or something.
He looks very clearly a lot taller than Jack Nicholson.
Taller, thinner. He looks like he should be in. He looks like something at Once Upon a Time in America or something.
Yeah.
But that's easy to do that, and we're only in it for 2 seconds. He might not be able to do the rest of the stuff Jack could do.
No, that's true. He looks a bit like an evil Jude Law.
Yeah.
But I mean, that to me is the Joker. Like in terms of physical appearance, that's more like the Joker.
Yeah, yeah.
With him in the makeup.
But he couldn't go up against Keaton, so you can't start mucking around.
Well, maybe he could. I mean, maybe Keaton could take him.
Keaton couldn't take anyone.
Well, that's why he's got the
Apart from
costume.
Jack.
Right, here we go. Alfred's letter in.
And the screenwriter always says, "Don't blame me," doesn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Who do you blame? I don't think that's that unrealistic, actually.
I don't think it's that bad. Oh my god, those jeans. That's terrible, isn't it? I mean, it's not that he's let her in. He's let her in while he's wearing those jeans.
Alfred, I wouldn't be wearing those jeans. You told me.
I mean, he'd be better off just
Why?
wearing his pants.
What? They're not that bad though when you look at them.
The jeans.
I mean, they are, but they're not. They are, but
That
they're
is
not.
a terrible outfit.
It's a terrible outfit, but if you actually look at those jeans, what's so bad about them?
They're the wrong jeans. They're not Levi's.
What would you have them in? Generally, like, would you have them in that turtleneck with just a pair of black trousers on?
Yeah, I'd have them.
A pair of black flannels?
I wouldn't put Bruce Wayne in jeans.
What about black jeans?
I mean, I suppose I'd probably rather put him in jeans in combats or something like that. Like a certain you know who would put him in, but
What, Chris?
yeah, Chris. Chris, sorry, I'm shooting on Chris again.
I mean, the polo neck kind of fits a bit kind of preppy almost.
Yeah, no,
It looks like a funny material. It looks like it wouldn't survive more than a few washes.
I really love the turtleneck. I think it looks amazing, and it suits this version.
This conversation's pure male fantasy.
I know.
He's saying it all
Look,
right here.
they're doing. There's a classic example of Barry not really knowing like that. It's a soap opera shot. I forget what you call it, but
Isn't it a 2-shot? And we used to always call it.
we called it the Smallville 2 shot because they used it all the time. But it's a shot that it's actually got a name that emerged from soap opera, where you can like one character turns and looks off the camera into the distance, and you can see what both actors are thinking.
Huh.
It's not good etiquette to be using that. No.
Good costume prep.
That's brilliant. I like how the eyes come up there.
And the idea of it being a vault and everything. Only one costume in this film.
Back taxes.
What do you prefer, the one costume in the vault or the rack of costumes? And
In returns.
yeah.
I like the specialness of one costume, I think.
Hmm.
I mean, now I probably would appreciate the practicalities of many costumes. But as a child...
I think that makes it special. The thing is, I'm then worrying about damages.
See, all I'm asking for here is a scene where he gets out and plants the bomb.
Well,
or
this is
something.
another thing that I do you count this in the thing you forget every time? Because I always forget he's not in that car.
Oh, that's right. I've just forgotten that. Yep. Added to the list of things I forget in the film.
Also,
I
add
watch
this
basically every
add that to the list of cowardice as well.
day. The passive Batman once more.
Because I always get emotional. See when that music kicks in, it's
Yeah.
sort of emotional score that I always get emotional thinking of him being in there and driving through, and then it turns out he's not even in the car. Quite cool though. I mean, that would be cool to do that in a remote control car, do all the dirty work.
What's your favourite Batman driving scene across all the Batman films? I mean, because Nolan's got quite a few good shouts there.
He does, but I think he may be hard pressed to beat that one we were talking earlier. When he takes her home, takes her back to the Batcave for the score and everything.
Right, I've got
And
one.
the Nolan car chase in Batman Begins is pretty good.
I think the one in Dark Knight Rises is pretty good as well.
Is that the motorbike?
The motorbikes when he's sort of shutting off the
Yeah, that is good.
And then
That
the
is
actual
good.
bat when it comes out in the Dark Knight. I mean, it's hard
Yeah,
to
that's good.
remember how exciting that was when that came out the first time.
Mm.
I'm going to pick one now. It may seem quite controversial amongst those exciting ones that I totally love. It's the slow drive he does in Returns past the Penguin's house.
Yeah, that's good.
Which again sounds ridiculous, but these balloons, they're amazing looking.
Also,
Gotham's just full of prozzies and that. I mean, that's total Frank Miller
Gotham,
Gotham, isn't it?
and this is pretty funny as well. The dancing.
Sort of like a
That's a
Ferris
better
Bueller
outfit. It's just a jacket. You just need something to.
200-year celebration. Yeah, no, I love that balloon. Gotham was quite empty. Oh my god, it's really empty, isn't it? When you think that's maybe a city.
Yeah,
I mean, imagine New York on New Year's Eve.
yeah. What can we do if you want a set? You know, you got to.
Yeah, you gotta take the rough and the smooth.
Because imagine, do you think this would look worse if it was New York?
Well, the whole thing I have against that whole realism thing that a certain somebody fishes is that at no point am I going to think it's real. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't need it to be as real as possible
Yeah.
because at no point I'm going to forget and go, oh, this is real.
Uh-huh.
So I'd rather have something that looked fantastical and cool
Uh-huh.
than something that was necessarily.
He described the way he described it at first. It sounded quite good, but I don't know if this is what Donner did, right? But he described it as the Richard Donner Superman exists in the normal world, and he's a fantastic element in that world, and that does seem to work there, and that's what he wanted to do for Batman, but it doesn't work. I don't know why that is.
It doesn't work because he's not a fantastic element. He's like this sort of really grounding, boring element.
That's true, actually, because that's the thing. Superman's Christopher Reeve does look iconic.
Yeah.
But if you put a Burton suit in the real world, it might work. But he didn't.
Right.
Put that big wetsuit with a towel around it.
I'm not being snide here, but what character from Chris Nolan's world would you like to hang around with? Not a single one.
Maybe Flash.
Maybe Flash. Maybe do some collections with Flash for fun.
Get one of those things.
My point is, right, you could hang around with Chris Reeve in Superman. You can hang around with Margot Kidder. Oh my god,
Gene
the
Hackman.
Batwings. Sorry,
Gene Hackman.
Gene Hackman. Sorry, we've got to go back to this. The Batwings just come onto screen. That's a Batwing.
Yeah, but this is a weird thing. I never think about this when I think of this film.
I always forget it. It's great
Why?
to bring it in, but the other thing is, this is when it just went like that. Like when I was watching it the first time, and that was my favourite toy as well.
Yeah, that was
It's amazing. The Batwing in this is just totally. I mean, it's only in it for like 2 minutes. Nothing's overused in this as well. That's the amazing thing.
No explanation as to where it's kept.
No.
You know.
Another thing that I know people will probably turn their nose up at as well, but I love the fact that it just looks like the logo.
Yeah.
I'm a massive fan of the Marketeer Batman. The other funny thing is he doesn't seem that impressed here that he's got it. I'd like to know a bit more about the gang and what they...
Oh, control. I think it's good as well.
That orange and green together seems
Yeah.
to be his sort of calling card. think that I can't. I'll just say that again. I think the fact that when little fantastical things happen in this and in the sequel, they have much more impact than the sort of grand, longer things you sometimes get into these superhero films. The one I'm thinking about from the sequel is when he finally does do the sort of glide and his wings open up, and that, because they know it's a big deal for them to be able to do it, they put more into effort into going like that. Right, this is the bit that's got to have an impact.
Yeah,
and I think that shines through.
Knox has a bit of a heroic moment here.
Yep, I mean, yeah, does he or does he just run out and get knocked over straight away?
He doesn't last too long. Isn't he meant to have died actually or something? They decided to bring him back. Is that true?
Yeah, I think that
it was
true.
like a test screen type job or something where.
Yeah, people were a bit of a downer.
He definitely looks like he's died at some point.
It would be a bit of a downer if he died.
Yeah.
And it's completely. I mean, just a sort of spurious scene. That's great. Again, I love the no nonsense way that he does this, where he just scoops him up.
It's definitely one of the best things about him. That he's so cool.
Yep. I think they sort of similar scene in Returns again, where he's like sort of underwater at the end, going on the boat thing. He just looks really pissed off. It's brilliant.
Really hacked off.
But he's not doing the sort of like weird voice of that. He's just like,
but he's not screaming.
Yeah,
he's not losing his shit.
He's just like he's seething. Seething Batman.
There's bits of this actually that look quite similar to the layout of Gotham and Returns. Yeah. I don't usually think of them as being similar at all, but like the general square looks quite similar.
Returns is shot in LA, isn't it? It's a different set altogether. It's
right.
A much smaller set as a result.
Didn't the guy that designed this die? Did he die in between or something? Isn't he some kind of genius? Is it Anton First?
I can't remember his name, but did he not commit suicide?
I think so. Yeah, I think he might have done Superman as well or something.
Really?
I have to check it. I'm sure they in all the documentaries and stuff, they talk about him as if he was a big deal.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, I've certainly heard talked about that it was a massive loss.
Be interesting to see what Returns might have been like if he'd been involved in it. If he wasn't involved in it, I don't know. Maybe he was. I thought he died before that.
I mean, again, look at Keaton there. He just looks so furious.
That's quite a funny line as well. Because balloons are a really childish thing to have.
Yes, I understand the concept. So you're telling me that a grown man with balloons is acting like a child?
This is quite scary.
This is I mean, that's good.
After all that.
But we don't. I wish we'd seen Jerry Hall's death in a way. If you know what I mean? Not that I need to see her die, but I wish we saw more of him doing that kind of thing.
Just to make him more evil.
Yeah, to make him a wee bit more. Oh, there it is. That's brilliant. That's worth every penny.
But it's pointless as well, which is really cool.
Yeah. I just think it's cool the fact that like it's as if he's just letting it hang in there.
Think that's a Burton idea?
Yeah, this is all Burton. I'm pretty convinced. The other thing is, like, I like how it's sort of like almost again. Oh God, I can't stop comparing.
That looks good.
Yeah. I like the fact that this Batman's equipment looks more military grade and more sort of roughshod than the supposed realistic one. This is again like in Dark Knight, isn't it? The sort of exact same mano a mano.
Yeah. And the massive gun. That's another funny bit. Does it bother you that he takes the ship? That he takes it down with that?
A little bit.
Or did it? If not now.
A little bit. It just more so because I really like the Batwing and I didn't want to see it taken down. But it makes sense, doesn't it?
Like it doesn't really explain why he's missing him there.
Yeah.
Also, I don't want to get bogged down in Batman killing or not killing, but is he deliberately missing them, or is he actually trying to kill them?
It looks like he's trying to kill them and missing. Yeah, it's not ideal, but it makes sense for the story. This is another great example of doing next to like doing everything with nothing.
It's really cool the way it comes down as well. That's great fun. Be interesting to see how these films poll these days compared to all the other Batman films.
Not well. It's the answer to that.
Is that definite? If we poll all ages?
Well, I mean, if you poll all ages, you may get some kind of...
Have these been forgotten, these films?
I don't think they've been forgotten. Like, I would say, I don't know, probably better asking my students, but I'd say, like, the idea of us suggesting that this is so much better will be, like, laughable to my students. Yeah, no, it would be laughable.
I think this was...
In fact, I asked one of the students the other day who, like, do they see Christian Bale when they think of Batman, and they said yes.
Right, okay.
So, yeah.
Now a bit of trivia here.
Mm-hmm.
Peterson, I think it's Peterson. Who was it? John Peterson that produced it?
Yep, John Peterson.
Was there someone else involved? Peter Gruber or something? I get mixed up with
there was
those
what's
guys.
his face, Michael Uslan.
There was, I think there might have been someone else.
Yeah, there was. There's a
something Gruber, is it? Maybe have I got that?
I'm not sure. John Peterson.
Anyway, it was Nicholson, one of the producers. I think they were out seeing Phantom of the Opera in London, and Nicholson said, "I want a bit like that in the film," and that's when this sort of dancing on top of the building got added in. But that just shows you everything he was throwing into it, and it's quite good.
You've been chipping in quite a lot of trivia. I mean, there's obviously the Bat and the Belfry thing here as well, but
yeah, I don't know to what extent this was already in it in some way, but he said he said they were at the theatre or whatever, and that was it. Nicholson said, "We're putting that in it." So since
said yes. You've been chipping in with quite a lot of trivia tonight, I'll chip in with one piece right here. That Jack Nicholson and John Peters had a frosty relationship,
right,
on set from what I hear, and it's all down to a feud over bomber jackets.
Oh, right.
The sort of jackets that the thugs wear were similar to the crew jackets, if not exactly the same, like the crew got for working on the film. And Jack Nicholson had made some kind of deal with John Peters to half in for them, like to get the crew the jackets. And Nicholson paid for them, and I think John Peters was dodging the bill. I think that's the story, if I remember correctly. And as a result, there was a bit of a feud there.
I think I've read a quote from Basinger, although I don't know. I'd have to check it. Like I don't know. I can't remember where I read it. Maybe in like a sort of hack Nicholson biography that I flicked through.
Right.
But it was something along the lines of, I was harassed daily by Jack Nicholson.
I shouldn't be laughing. Me too.
And I think the producer said that she went out with...
Isn't
it Kevin Smith that tells the story that he said something like, I went out with Vicky Vale.
Yeah, he called her Vicky Vale. That's right, yeah.
But I'm sure Nicholson was up to no good as well. I think Michael was a perfect gentleman.
I've got to assume Michael was a perfect gentleman. I need to assume it.
Question of Gordon, totally ineffective again.
Yeah. I mean, laughable.
So you're pretty much at the end, and I don't think it's gotten too boring as these films do tend to be. No, they tend to go really big, big beyond caring by this point.
I mean,
and I don't think it has. This is still quite character based.
I think, the obvious examples from recent years would be Man of Steel, Justice League, and the Ready Player One, where at the end it's like just as if a computer started vomiting all over the screen. I don't know. Again, I guess that's maybe a modern aesthetic that younger people would be happy with, but I hate it.
I think there's probably a bit too much of Keaton fighting the thugs here. But once that's done, it's good when him and Nicholson get the showdown again.
Keaton, and again, it's probably just due to Burton's inability to direct action, I'm imagining, but he seems to have to fight everyone at once, which doesn't seem like it maybe be realistic. I mean,
you're saying he only fights them one at a time, and that's bad.
Yeah, it's like they all stand round him. It's like Streets of Rage or something like that. Like when they come one at a time at him. And stuff. It's just...
One thug at a time, man, it didn't cost me a dime. He looks like he's struggling to get up these stairs.
Yeah, he
well,
does look like it's not going well from going up the stairs.
Should they get a grappling hook? They got that or something.
Yeah, that would make more sense.
Yeah.
It just look cooler. Nice big epic ending though, and like again, looks like he's been messed about a bit, but battle damaged.
He's looking bloody pissed off again.
He looks bloody fed up.
Costume looks great.
Cape looks great. I suppose a bit of praise for one of the modern ones that doesn't get a lot of praise is Batman vs Superman. Like the Affleck fight at the end's pretty good. If you're talking about comparisons between these old ones and the new ones, the Affleck fight where he's getting stabbed in the head and that.
Mark Miller, the comic writer Mark Miller, says Keaton best Batman, not in the best Batman film. But I would say now that I think best Batman film.
What's just one slight adjustment there. Best Batman and best Batman costume in the best Batman film. What's Miller considering the best Batman film?
He doesn't. I can't remember if he specified in the quote, but I think it was one of the Nolan ones. But that's it's not Schumacher. If it's not Burton, then who else can it be? Do you know what I mean? It's not.
Yeah, it's going to be.
So it was
Dark Knight, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think he was saying and then the opposite, obviously being true of Christian Bale. Like, I think he basically says what we say, that there's something boring about him.
It's just, I don't know what it is. It's so weird because American Psycho, he's so charismatic.
And then he's even more charismatic in other films, like even American Hustle and things like that. And
but to be fair, is it just American Psycho and American Hustle? Is it any film with the word American in the title he's charismatic in? Where else have you seen him be charismatic apart from those two examples?
No, I mean, did you see The Big Short?
Yeah.
Let's not talk about it then.
I mean,
can't get away with it. It's good.
I guess what I'd maybe slightly point out as well is that remember at the time Begins came out, we went and saw The Machinist as well. The one where he lost the weight.
Yeah.
That's problematic.
Then you knew there was a problem.
Yeah.
Because all he seems he's got is like effort.
Yeah, he just puts in a lot
trying
of
really
effort.
hard.
He's a try-hard.
That's not good enough. If anyone can do that.
I prefer the blue collar Batman.
Blue shirt. Literally blue shirt.
Blue shirt, mum jeans, glasses.
Weedy body.
Looks like someone would kick sand in his face down the beach.
Kind of struggling to deal with this guy.
Is this problematic?
What, he's getting beaten up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Someone's gone straight off the balcony there.
Right, here we go.
Right, this is so good. This is the Phantom in the Opera scene that he wanted so badly.
That just shows you anything he wanted he got.
It seems very poorly lit.
God knows what else Jack got on. Do you think you could get your hands on a original script or something maybe?
I'm sure you.
That's easy enough to find online. It's just funny like things like this are genuinely aren't in it.
I think
I'm sure there was meant to be a bit where Batman was on a horse, Dark Knight style, which would have been terrible. Thank God they didn't do that.
Well, is that not? There was definitely a horse scene because that's how Sean Young broke her leg. But I'm assuming it would have been Bruce Wayne in jeans.
Well, if it was Batman on a horse, that would have been bad.
I think that would have been terrible. Quite like this. This is probably the only fun thing she gets to do in the film.
Yeah, well, it's not very Me Too.
Yep.
I mean, it is very Me Too.
Oh my God. Once again, I'm paralysed with fear because I don't want to say anything that gets me into trouble. But this is humorously done, isn't it?
Yeah, I suppose.
Oh, this...
That was a good reading. That line. Right, explain this.
Okay. Idiot.
He says you made me. Now how does he know who he is?
I don't know. I don't know, man.
He said I was a kid when I killed your parents, but how does he know he's presumably killed hundreds of people?
Don't know, don't care. Still the best one. Keaton is furious at this point. Nicholson's hair looks quite good for getting messed up.
But it's a wig, isn't it?
It is a wig.
So
This
wig looks good.
Right, see when like it's the final scene. It's the big showdown. He should be wearing his proper trousers. I'm now worried this podcast is trouser heavy because of the Keaton jeans and that. It's not what I intended.
What were you going to say there?
What about?
I don't know. I thought you were saying something. More examples of. Is this just the time that I seen it? That punching the gob he's taken looks really sore.
The violence in it. That's quite good as well when he pulls them over the side.
Yeah.
Stuff. It's quite cartoony.
Yeah, hell of a jam there. This is a point. I always get this. I got this with Ledger as well. This is a point in the film where I'm tired of listening to him laugh.
Yeah.
I've had enough. Do you think Billy D. Williams could have made a good Two-Face?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Yep.
Would have been interesting to see a sequel that really took place in this world.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that didn't. That, I know that they went full Burton and it was good, but it would have been interesting to see this set again, if you know what I mean, in like Billy D. Williams as Two-Face. Although maybe there wasn't enough of the set to go around to have a second one in all the exact same bits.
Am I not right in
He could just
saying
moved into Grisham's.
that the Max Shrek stuff from 2 was originally made by Billy D's?
Is it? Right,
And
okay.
at the end, he would get disfigured by Catwoman, setting him up for the villain in the third one.
God, so he still wasn't going to get to be Two-Face in the second one.
Billy D doesn't get that part, even though we promised him that part and paid him for it.
But yeah, he does seem like he would make a good Two-Face. I don't know why that is. Is it because he seems quite sort of businessy or something? Or?
Look, I think we're all ignoring the elephant in the room here. Billy D wasn't a big enough star.
Yeah.
Like they once they'd proven the formula worked here, and then
What star?
yeah,
Who's the star in the second one? Pfeiffer. Not DeVito, is it?
It's DeVille.
Is
Pfeiffer
it?
and DeVille. 2 huge stars. Pfeiffer
Were they?
had already starred with Michael Keaton and something, hadn't she? But she was on the rise, and Danny DeVito was pretty famous.
This looks really painful.
Yeah, this looks so looks difficult.
That's a genuine. That's a really
I mean,
That's
for
a
that to be
real
hanging on you.
bind. I think I just want to let it go.
Yeah, the thing is, when you fall, you're gonna land on top of it because it's falling directly below you.
He's got him. He's got him with a good one there.
The right pickle.
Oh. It's a funny ending though. I don't think that's anything I would have come up with.
Yeah.
It's a big gargoyle tied to his leg. And you can't hang onto the helicopter.
This is good.
I was going to say it's one fall too far, but
No, I like this. They needed something.
that's got him out of quite a few jams. That
That's why we all
grappling
love
hook.
the grappling
grappling
hook.
gun, whatever.
Grapple. For me,
That's
this was
pretty nice as well.
yeah, this is nice, but a wee bit scary.
But to just swing there with Kim for a bit
Right, okay.
in a respectful way. When they made The Dark Knight, Jack Nicholson said, I'm paraphrasing, but this is basically what he said. I was really annoyed. I've got to tell you, I was really annoyed about that because I know how to do that. So he had an idea for bringing the Joker back. Obviously, that's him not getting it, but he obviously thought he could somehow come back as a Joker. Any ideas how that might have worked?
Not well. This would be my obvious answer.
Do you think it would have been that bad? I think it would have been The Departed.
Yes, yes, I do think it would have been bad, and let me give you a reason why.
Because I asked him to always wait for this one.
Because he's 50 in this one. And when was The Dark Knight?
So he'd have been about 80.
Right. So,
right
away.
Wait a second, this is 89, okay, so 89.
I'm not having this.
99, 2009. So that's about so you'd have been about 70.
Right, okay, so it's clear from that alone that he's not going to be the Joker in The Dark Knight. I mean,
But he looks quick in The Departed. Put the makeup on.
He's not the Joker in The Departed.
But how I just want to think, how do you think he thought that though? What do you think he was thinking? He said, I know how to do that.
He wasn't thinking, how to do what? Play the Joker? Yes, you already played the Joker.
I think what I took from that was he was saying, I know how to bring the Joker back. Me.
Here's a great revelation of the sign here. Big triumphant piece of music. Here's this is a nice little third act.
Yeah.
Nice and short.
I got given that as a present for a birthday, and it was pretty cool. Imagine getting the Nolan one.
What about Signal?
Yeah.
Well, I suppose there'll be some maybe some students of that.
Maybe you get one with
would...
Falcone tied to it or something.
I'll tell you what, I mean, a raging Christmas morning, open up a Falcone action figure.
I thought I someone.
It's me too, they're come for us.
I've got to tell you, I've really warmed to Michael Gough over the course of this. I mean, I do like him. I don't mind
Nice
Michael Caine in
safe.
some ways, but I like the fact he just butts out.
Dare I describe Michael Gough as cuddly? Cuddly Michael Gough.
Just boil the kettle, Alfred. Iron my trousers.
I don't find...
Forget about the rest.
She looks totally different in this last scene.
Yeah, she does. I think it's the hair.
I think I prefer the ending to the second one as well, with Bruce Wayne at the back of the car.
I quite like the promise of romance here. Even if we know it goes wrong.
But again, here we also have total male fantasy. She's going back to the house.
Getting all ready for him.
Yep. And he's like standing stoically in cause.
In full cause,
a building.
completely ignoring his responsibilities.
Music swells. Music swells. Everyone in the city is like really happy with him.
Get down from there and deal with your
That's
responsibilities.
brilliant. But I mean, I would like to get down from that roof. Stop jumping around on the roofs.
Tracy Walter, that's Bob.
Hmm?
Tracy Walter's Bob, I think. Is it
Okay.
co-starring?
First name? First name of the
No,
credits?
it was Jerry Hall and then Tracy.
Okay, that's interesting. Okay, Graeme, thank you very much for joining me
Thanks for having me.
for a
was a
Picture
blast.
Palace podcast, a very highly unresearched sort of chat through it. Have you got any closing comments
Well,
on
I'm
Batman?
going to watch it
1989?
again next week, so if you want to do it again, I don't mind going round a second time.
I'm actually just going to start it again right now. Pick up again.
Maybe we could come back and talk about Return sometime.
I think that would be very nice. So,
A companion piece.
closing thoughts on this film, though?
It's a film that's grown on me a lot over time. I liked it when I was young, and I absolutely love it now. I think it's probably somewhere in my top 10, maybe in my top 5. Favourite Joker of all time, favourite Batman of all time, favourite Batman costume. And I personally prefer it to Returns, although I like that film.
Okay.
Yeah.
This film is, although maybe not the best overall film out of the Batman franchise, it's the one that's got the most interesting elements, the most iconic elements, the most powerful imagery. Imagery is so powerful that it influenced all the superhero films that followed that. I'm thinking of even things like X-Men. When it came out, they had to have black leather costumes to try and imitate Batman. Obviously there was that initial burst of superhero films that came out after 1989, like The Rocketeer, Dick Tracy, those kind of ones. But I would say that the legacy of this
Phantom?
film
No.
carries on. Yeah, Phantom.
What's the Alec Baldwin one?
The Shadow.
Yeah.
The funny thing was, like Hollywood so often does, it seemed to take the wrong message from this. So this came out, and then what Hollywood did was it had a flood of 1940s era comic book movies
When what it should have had was...
with superhero movies.
Right.
They kind of took the wrong thing, so they had Dick Tracy and the Shadow in it instead of going like, well, let's make Superman again, which they never got finished. I think like if we do Return for Returns, no pun intended.
Mm-hmm.
I think what lingers in my head would be, what if we'd got a third Burton film and they'd found some kind of way of compromising between the more studio orientated first one and the more Burton orientated second one. Have they got it right the third time? I feel like that's what stops us from ever being able to have that full on square go between Nolan and Burton. Burton never got the chance to finish his trilogy.
Yeah, that would have been great. The Halloween
The
third
Halloween
film that was
film.
planned. Can I just say that in the credits there it said Mr. Nicholson's clothes tailored by Tommy Nutter.
And on that bombshell, I'll say goodnight.
Good night.
Thank you everyone for listening.
Thank you.
Cheers. Bye bye.